Okay, and we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Chicago Conservative live stream edition. This is a fairly late live, so you guys got to bear with me here. But today we have a special guest, and his name is Detroit, but I don't really know his first name, but we're just gonna call him Detroit for now. And he has criticisms of the Charlie Kirk death, and it's very interesting now. Um, the main thing that kind of caught my attention with this, not saying that he's kind of shitting on Charlie or anything like that. That's not the case at all. But what made it interesting is that he said that Charlie Kirk shouldn't be martyred. Now, me personally, I would disagree, but we're just gonna get his intake on that. So, Detroit, why do you think that Charlie shouldn't be martyred? Well, first, let's just introduce yourself and let the people know who you are and things like that, and then you can jump in.
All right. Well, Detroit's fine. If y'all call me Detroit, that's cool. I'm a 45-year-old black male, so from Detroit. And Detroit is a very has been a socially active city. So I've always grown up knowing that activism is kind of the thing. So I'm a devout progressive, and whoever the candidate is, that's if they're progressive and trying to progress us, then I'm with them. So that's my political stance as we go through here. I don't believe that Charlie should be martyrdized, and my reasoning for that when we were kicking this off was well, first off, I feel like Charlie at 31 years old, his views that he had, to me, I feel like he lost the chance to actually redeem or repent from, or whatever you want to call it, from his views. I believe that me as a 45-year-old male, I know even 10 years ago, my views were different, before my kids were teenagers. You know what I mean? So things and things you see in life change, and he was very young. No matter what, his views did not warrant him getting murdered. Nobody deserves to get murdered. Nobody to me, actually, unless it's a life or limb and your family's at risk and your life is at risk, should be, pulling, a bullet on anybody, shooting anybody at any point, you know what I'm saying? So I don't agree with any kind of gun violence, whether it's in my community or outside of my community. So some of the things I've seen online as far as people, I hate to say even praising the death of Charlie Kirk, because that's so, to me, it's not where my soul bears. I feel like the same evil that is in that is the same evil that was in the guy who killed him. And I believe they came from two different political perspectives, if that makes sense to you guys. But to me, I think
That
they're
guy
both
was not a
fringe.
Trump supporter, Detroit. That guy was not a Trump supporter, man. See, I'm sorry I had to cut you off, but we gotta do some fact checking here. So there's I'll actually just pull it up, but there's actually a photo going around saying that this guy was a Trump supporter, but he actually was not. He actually did not like Trump at all. So there's two
Okay.
photos going around, and
Well, before
one,
you go with those photos, let me just real briefly. I don't care if he was a Trump supporter or not. What I have to say has nothing to do with who he
okay,
supported or
so
not,
why you say they had two different political views? Why does that matter?
because each one of them were from the far spectrum of whatever political views you decide you're on. So just think about somebody who's a centralist, like,
No,
what I'm
no,
saying.
but that's why you're getting it
Go
confused,
ahead, go
bro.
ahead.
Like
No, no, no,
the
no. I'm
thing,
not confused, but go ahead with what you want to say.
but the thing is this though. He was on the far left. You do realize that, right?
When did he switch to the far left?
Dude, he's dating a transgender. Did you not hear about that?
He was raised in a MAGA home.
He was not raised in a MAGA home. He was raised in a
So
Christian home,
let me
which
let's
ultimately
do
led.
this. Let's do this. Okay. I haven't sat here and refuted anything that you said. Everything that I've said, you've refuted, and we, saying like just like my how I started my topic. You know, I believe there's a middle ground here, a central ground that we're all missing, and that's why things get ramped up and have been. So I'm not like disputing that I know all this guy's life, just like I would tell you not to dispute that you know all of it too. We're getting what we and this is very early on. I'm one of these people that believe in investigations and letting shit play out. Excuse my language if we can't cuss on here, but
No,
I
you can
believe in
curse
letting
all
things
you
play
want.
out.
You can say shit,
Okay,
bastard, ass, or I don't care. But you do know there
I'll
was
try
a
not.
thorough investigation, right?
How is it a thorough investigation? It's only been a week here.
Because they have a lot of information as far as the shooter. His name is hold on. I think somebody else trying to join. Hold
That's a
on.
lot of information, but that's not a
They got
thorough
his
investigation.
hold up. They got his name. What's going on, Andy? They got his name.
Hey,
They found out where he lived. They found his Discord. They found all of his social media. They know that this guy was far left. Have you seen his Discord? It's all left leaning, all far left propaganda.
So
Now
is Nick Fuentes considered far left?
he's a white
no,
nationalist.
far
Say
right,
again.
far
No,
right.
he's a
Nick
white
Fuentes
nationalist.
is far right.
No,
Right.
Yeah,
he.
So
I
that's
don't really
who.
think. I don't really think he's choosing sides right now. But yeah, he was a
Not
maximum
right
one.
now. Let's think about pre Charlie getting killed. Okay. What was Nick Fuentes? Because this guy who killed him, like you're saying, you find his Discord. I'm sure you found that he also was a self-proclaimed groiper too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Wait. You talking
I,
about the shooter?
the shooter.
No, the shooter was not a
Okay.
groiper. What the hell are you talking about? Nick Fuentes is a groiper, but the shooter was a far left liberal.
Nick Fuentes is the leader of the groipers. Anybody
What does
who's
that have to do
following
with
him
the
is
shooter,
considered a
though?
groiper. You brought
The
this
shooter
up.
was
I
not
was
a
talking
groiper, sir.
about once again. I was talking. I said nothing about Charlie deserved to die, and this is where my talking point was to begin with, and I'll stand on this. Was that we get if you're gonna get caught up in the fars, if you get caught up in like this is an Antifa versus white supremacist battle and stuff like that, everybody that's in between, which is the majority of all of us, even the people in this chat, when push comes to shove, unless you want to say it right now on live, most of us aren't for any of these things. You might have some views that are kind of center right, middle right, whatever you want to call it, left, right, whatever it is. But the extreme part is the ones who want to incite violence. I don't care who is on. And in this
Yeah,
case,
I
it
agree
ended
with
up
that.
being on Charlie. Go ahead.
No, I agree with that point. The extremists, when it comes to left and right, they do both sides want to incite violence. But who's been inciting violence more? It's definitely the left. When it comes to Black Lives Matter, they caused over $2 billion worth of property damage. They've been attacking white people just for them being white. They're shooting people. They're shooting each other. It's like, and then you have the leader, Patrice Cullors. She's giving none of the money to black organizations, no money to Black Lives at all. And it's like a lot of people need to really stop with the white supremacy garbage. Like, okay, Nick Fuentes, he says, hot takes and stuff like that. But I mean, I'm not necessarily seeing how the Groiper movement has anything to do with this shooter. Now, you can
What?
say he's a Groiper, but that's your opinion. But I've done the research and I've seen his Discord, I've seen his X account, I've seen his transgender lover, and this guy, and I've seen the engraved bullets. Like, there is so much evidence on this guy, as far as him being far left, it's absolutely ridiculous. Like, he even have engraved bullets that said, if you read this, you're gay.
So
Powerful
if you
trend.
did
It's
the
like,
research, what about the research into the FBI data that shows that domestic terrorism in this country, the things that have happened, let's say
you said domestic terrorism and what happened? You kind of cut out.
or Boogaloo Boys or whatever you want to call these, most of that violence came from that side. It doesn't validate somebody killing Charlie.
Hold
That's
on,
not what I'm saying.
you gotta repeat that. You kind of cut out, sir. Can you repeat what you said?
All over. And if we don't call out like this,
You kind of breaking up a little bit. Can y'all hear him, or is it me?
I
No, I
can't.
can't hear him.
Damn, he cutting out. Okay, though. Okay, so Scotty, do you want
his
to
speech while he
refute
was
that?
alive. Now he didn't get the chance to redeem himself, and that was my thing. I think everybody, no matter who you are, you know, Uh, God gave you the ability to develop to whoever you are. It gives you the ability to better yourself as well. And somebody took that God given the right away from him. So that's wrong regardless. But martyrdizing him would then say that we want somebody else to come in his place. Not only that, we would want a whole movement of people to come in his place as he passes. And I don't think that his last views on his life, I'll give you an example. There's probably a lot of people in America who wouldn't have wanted pre or before he left the Nation of Islam, they wouldn't have wanted that Malcolm as their martyr. It was the Malcolm who like changed his views, who became deeper, who understood it. It was more that we had more in common, and that his enemies weren't people of different colors. It was people who were trying to oppress anybody anywhere. That's what I'm
Hey,
saying. And he didn't get that chance,
I understand
but
that. I understand that. But the thing is, I don't want to say that's irrelevant to the conversation, but the thing is this, man. It's like we're not focused on the Nation of Islam. We're focused on what this crazy
you're missing my
leftist did
point.
to Charlie Kirk. You know,
You're
and
missing
no,
my point.
I understand the point, but the situations are entirely different. You see what I'm saying? So when it comes to Charlie Kirk, and then I'll let somebody else hop in. But when it comes to Charlie Kirk, man, he was assassinated and he was murdered, and he was murdered by a far leftist. Now, I'm not really sure where you're getting at when it comes to adding Nick Fuentes and things like that, and then you went off and said that he was a Trump supporter, which is absolutely not true at all.
I did not say. I said I don't know what he. I don't care what the killer of Charlie Kirk, what his political views were. He was
But you
wrong in
brought up
killing him.
political stance, though. But you're bringing up political stances, which I
You brought
honestly
up his political stance, and I retorted to that with like he was a Nick Fuentes follower. You were the first one who said he was far,
but he's not a
far.
Nick Fuentes follower, though. See, that's what I'm
I
saying.
only
That's what
said that because you said he was far left, bro. If you hadn't
that
said
doesn't.
he was far left, I would have never
Far
brought up
left.
no
How is
Nick
he a Nick
Fuentes.
Fuentes supporter? Nick
You
Fuentes
wanna
says
you wanna hold on to that he's far left, and there's no proof of that.
dude, Nick
None.
Fuentes content is not for far left people. What are you talking about?
Right, and this
Name
guy
one
was a
far left
follower of
person.
Nick Fuentes. So obviously, if it's not for the far left, and this guy followed Nick Fuentes, that would mean that he was far right. That's not hard to understand, and don't make it complicated, man, just to get a point across. And that's
But
not
why
even
would
the
a
point that
far
I'm
right
trying to
person
make.
kill Charlie Kirk? That's what you're not
He should
understanding,
not.
bro. I
Nobody
know
should have killed
nobody.
Charlie.
Not far right. I don't know
Left,
why you
right,
say that.
left,
Not
right,
far
anywhere.
right.
Nobody should have murdered Charlie. But
He's not
Charlie
far
wasn't a
right.
martyr because he got killed.
Not far right. So stop saying that. He was a far leftist
Okay,
nut job.
okay.
So
Human
why would
beings
a
shouldn't
far
have killed
right
Charlie
person?
Kirk.
Hold on.
Human
Why
beings
would a
shouldn't have
far
killed
right?
Charlie Kirk.
Why would a
If
far
I
right
may,
person kill Charlie Kirk?
if I may.
So
So
only
if
talking
you
point y'all
figure,
got is left and right.
I have a question for
Because they're
Detroit.
inciting the
It,
violence.
hold on, let
No,
me ask a
that's
question.
if
I would
you
like to.
dwell in these online shits, and that's all you can think of is one side's doing this, then you are in the monster. The call is coming from in the house.
But we're not the
The
one
call is coming
inciting
from in the
the
house. All that violent stuff is in what y'all are like. It follows you. It doesn't matter. If you
No,
try to
ain't
start
no
saying
y'all. No, ain't
you
no
brought up
y'all.
Antifa,
Ain't no y'all, buddy.
Antifa.
That's the
What
problem. See,
what
you a progressive. See, that's the
Antifa
problem. You a
sucks.
progressive. And you
Antifa
think that
sucks.
the right. No, no, no.
Antifa
No,
sucks.
no, 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 no,
And
no,
you
no, no.
brought them
See,
up like
here's
it was
what I
going to do something,
no, no,
like
no,
it
no, no,
make a
no.
point.
Here's what I think. Here's what I think. I think you're scared that the right is fed up with the Democrats killing Charlie Kirk and the far left killing Charlie Kirk. I think you're scared that you have people like Jasmine Crockett and Joy Reid
And when the
spamming
name
the
calling
word
starts,
fascist,
that's when you don't have a
the
point.
word fascist,
When the
spamming the word
name's calling
fascist,
starts, that's when you don't have a
spamming the
point.
word fascist. Let me finish. Spamming the word fascist left and right everywhere you go and look, and you know that that triggers people to do harmful things, and you know that conservatives like myself and a majority of people on this panel are fed up with this garbage, and we're not going to stand for it anymore. See, that's the
So
problem.
conservative
Up here,
is all
no,
right too, right?
you're sitting up here acting like us conservatives wasn't calm after Trump was shot, after the CEO was shot, after you guys mocked Trump almost being killed twice. You guys are mocking Charlie Kirk's death. I know you don't agree with it, but my thing is this: you're saying two wrongs don't make a right, but we're not doing any wrong. So what are you talking about?
That's
Go
where
ahead,
you all wrong. If you
go
think
ahead,
that
Danny.
all this rhetoric, listen, I got on this live. I haven't said one bad thing about Charlie Kirk. I've only said bad things about the shooter. My critique was that if you really want to, if we're going to martyrize him, why we martyrize somebody who dwelled in that far right or far left, regardless of who they were? I don't care. That's where the extreme part of all of our political views are. Is where these people are hanging out. The reason why they hang out there is because it's very profitable. Because my stance, where everybody's a human and it don't matter about that, that gets refuted, gets shot down really quick, doesn't it? Because even on this live, I've been called, right, you brought up fascists. I didn't bring up fascists. You brought up
I
Antifa. I didn't
said
bring
the
it up.
left
You brought
says
up like,
fashion. I didn't say, dude. Oh my God. First
get it
off,
real. You can
I would
rewind it,
like to
dog.
say
I'm
something.
right
you
I would
here.
like
say
to say something. I would like to say something. I have a question, Detroit. Do you
Please.
think if you don't think Charlie Kirk should not be martyred, should George Floyd be martyred since it happened 5 years ago? You think George
great
Floyd should be
point.
martyred because they put a
Who
lot
built the
of
Colorado property damage
murals
after George
of George
Floyd?
Floyd. They put a lot of statues of George Floyd. They still uh, bringing up George Floyd. They were trying to make a George Floyd bill when the Democrats had the House and the Senate. So should that if you don't think Charlie Kirk should not be martyred, then should it go the same way as the left heroes like George Floyd,
Well,
who
see,
was
that's
a
the thing.
addict?
Okay, this is the thing. I don't think George Floyd should have been martyrdized
George
because,
Floyd was a criminal.
hear me out. I do not think George Floyd should have been martyrdized. And anybody who's martyrdizing them, this is what you're doing. You're saying that we should live in the same way that George Floyd lived. And I think even George Floyd, like, in death, like Charlie probably too, who knows what their last thought was? That's the thing that we got snatched from, right? From all of them. Anybody who got killed in the name of political violence, we got snatched their last word, their last thought of what they could have been thinking. Who knows in your last breath what your thought is going to be, right? So, no, I don't think you should martyrize him. No, but that doesn't mean that people should be okay. That doesn't mean that now we say that the reason why he died was because of drugs and not a knee on his neck. You know what I'm saying? We gotta that's just like right now. If somebody was saying that Charlie died because of right wing like conspiracies and stuff like that, and that's why he died, it's the same thing as somebody to me saying that George Floyd died from a drug overdose and not from a knee in his neck.
But here's the thing: all the Democrats, the left, and the liberals did not acknowledge that George Floyd died of a drug overdose. They acknowledged that he had a knee or supposed to have a knee on the neck by Darren Chevron.
Okay,
So
I see you
my
just missed everything I said. So let's
no, no, I heard everything you said, sir.
okay, did you catch it
So
then?
yeah, I I I don't catch cold, so I must have caught what you say. But anything else, I heard everything you say, and I listened to you. But my thing is this here. Now I agree with you on that 1%. Kirk did not deserve a bullet. That's true. But here's the thing: that shooter was not a MAGA supporter. Okay, his family was not a MAGA supporter. His family was a Mormon Christian. So that's one thing
Thank
right there
you.
that he was. He decided he never did like Charlie Kirk, and when he was under influence of these uh, liberals, especially transgenderists, he took it upon himself to try to put that bullet in Charlie, to put that death shot to Charlie Kirk. So we got to correct the fact a little bit more than what it is. Raw offense, sir. So my thing is this here. Charlie Kirk did not know he was going to get assassinated. And matter of fact, nobody don't know when or if they're going to get assassinated. However, that man pulled that trigger. That man knew what happened. And guess what? The Democrats could say how tragic it may be. You can may say how tragic it may be. But I guarantee you, deep inside them souls, you are happy that it happened.
No, I'm not. That's you know what I listen. I can expect that from some of the people that's gonna have your view. Is that the easiest way to describe my point of view? Is that
But it's
somewhere
not
deep
our
inside?
view. It's the
Go ahead.
truth.
I'll let you finish.
I just want to say that it's not our view, man. It's the truth. Can we not acknowledge
You're
that
not. You
these are
can't speak for my soul. You can't speak for my soul. That's your truth. That's not mine. And that's like I wouldn't do that for you, and I won't do it for anybody on this panel.
not my truth?
You're
It's the
saying deep
truth.
down in my heart, I'm glad that Charlie, just because I'm not conservative, that deep down in my heart, I'm glad that Charlie died.
I didn't. Whoa,
And
whoa,
that's
whoa,
what I'm
whoa.
Wait,
saying.
First of all,
she's
I
here.
never. ever said that. I don't know where
No,
you got that from.
whoever
I
was
did not
just on
say
the
that at
live.
all. Let's
That
get
Deep
was
down in
me
my
who
let's get
heart.
said
Scotty
that.
in.
Deep down in the heart
Let's get
of a.
let's get Scotty in. He's also new to the panel as well, guys. Say
That's
what's
okay.
up,
I'm
Scotty.
just answering who's there.
No, you good. Let's get Scotty in. Go ahead, Scotty. Can you hear me, Scotty?
Oh, someone else might have to go. Cause I'm doing something right now.
Okay. Andy, do you want to finish, or Mr. Dennis, do you want to finish, or I can finish? You want to
Yeah,
go,
the
Andy?
breaking news right now. Sure, thank you. The breaking news right now. It's totally confirmed that he's far left. His social media is revealed. His family has totally confirmed that he's far left, and they had to cut off their relationship with him because he was constantly talking about violence against the right. So
There you
that's
go.
the news. That wasn't revealed this morning, but it's revealed now.
And my
Okay.
question to you, Detroit, is why would a far okay, let's say he is far right, which he's absolutely not, by the way, and breaking news just told you that. But why would a
Mm.
far right person shoot Charlie Kirk?
Because Charlie Kirk wasn't extreme enough for them. There is a far right, very extreme side that okay, let's think about it like this, and I'm not trying to change the subject, but let's just keep this in account. Didn't people have a problem? There was things I saw online where people like were making a problem that JD Vance's wife was Indian. Remember that? Or maybe y'all didn't see that, but I saw that online. And it
I
was
don't
coming
think so.
from right, and it was coming from ultra alt right type of views and stuff like that. Okay. And
Well, I don't know if that came from the
okay,
right
if
because
y'all
the
never saw that,
majority.
that's fine. I never saw some of the stuff that y'all said, but I'm just gonna hold y'all that y'all telling the truth. Okay. So there is a side of that extreme side of the alt right or whatever, far right, that sometimes feel like some people aren't extreme enough. So, like, some people don't have good views about like the people of Gaza. And I know Charlie started talking about like how he could see, and this is some of that redeeming stuff that I was talking about. He started to see like that, like what was going on over there was atrocious. There's atrocities going on over there. But there are people who are far right who don't believe in what he believed in that aspect. They don't have the same view about
So name
like
an example. Name an
what do you
example.
mean? Of people?
Are you referring to Gaza?
Far right people? You
Yeah,
tell
like
me. I mean, I don't follow far right, but I know how extremists like all the
so you
dialogue they
can't
put
tell me
online
an example as to why a far right person would shoot Charlie Kirk for a different view.
because his views weren't extreme enough. I just
So
said that.
name an extreme view that isn't
I just
extreme enough for
did.
Charlie Kirk.
So there are
All
extremists
right.
that are cool with Gaza being demolished and people being genocided. There is. Charlie's view on that is different than the far right because the far right don't care about Gaza. Charlie, if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. But Charlie started to speak out on things that were going on with Gaza and the IDF and how Israel was, running things over there.
I'll
He
give you
did.
that. I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
So that is different than
There's
what the
no
far
his-
right. Now, is that a reason why he should get killed? No, absolutely not. But we're talking
That's
about
a big
causalities.
conspiracy.
We're not talking about whether somebody deserves it or not, because none of us are the judge of any of that, even if you believe in the death penalty. What I'm saying is a causality. And that's what
And
I
what
was saying by the call that's coming from inside the house. This was not some kind of outside. Like I said, if you go and look up the FBI statistics, the majority of political violence that has happened in this country over the last 20 years has been from the far right. If you want to refute that, that's fine, but it doesn't change the fact.
but people on the
there's
far
no
right
historical
criticize this.
evidence of Republicans killing Republicans. There's no historical examples of Republicans killing Republicans like that. So it's
Has,
possible, but it's totally speculative.
has there been accounts of
Oh,
white people
hold on.
killing
We
white
got
people?
Danny. We got
Because he
Danny.
was a white guy that killed a white guy, right? So you can find the
Yo, what's
stats that
up,
work
Danny?
for you, but
Well,
Go ahead,
Antifa is
continue.
one on.
Danny can just hop
Antifa
in.
is one.
You can just hop in when
okay,
we're
give me
done.
an Antifa crime.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Vandalism, things like that, right? We've seen that with Antifa, right? Vandalism. We've seen fires and stuff like that, right? What's the
Hate
murder
of
cases of
journalists, Andy,
Antifa?
no.
So, so you saying that everybody? You saying
Don't
that
say
Antifa
every.
never
If you
commit?
use every with me, it's gonna be
You
a
know,
problem.
no. I'm asking you a question.
All right.
So you telling me Antifa never commit no crime like that?
That's not what I said. My question was name the crimes because I guarantee you that the percentage, as far as who's doing the most, all of them bad, right? All of them are bad, but you know what I'm saying? Don't be the cop, the cop. Don't be the pot calling the kettle black, though. You know what I'm saying? If you want to deal with political violence, then you deal with where it's the most ramped up, and it's ramped up in the far
Antifa's
right.
Antifa's
Just
stated
because you say
purpose is
Antifa don't mean
violence.
nothing. Just because you say Antifa, okay. So what is the Boogaloo Boys incite?
They're not Antifa.
No, I know they're not Antifa. They're far right. So those are the far extremes. Antifa's the far left, and the Boogaloo Boys are the far right. Isn't there
I
a
don't know
whole
if those
vast
guys have
amount in between
ever
there?
been. I don't think there's any evidence of Boogaloo being violent,
Okay, Proud
but
Boys.
Antifa openly says that they're violent.
Okay, Proud Boys.
Exactly.
Well, they were involved in January 6th, so they're guilty for that. You're right,
Okay,
but that's one day, one incident.
the Klan.
But Antifa is like every day they're out there to beat up protesters
The
that have a different
Klan,
view. So
the
And
Klan is
that's
the
wrong too,
left.
right?
Wrong side,
it's
jackass.
wrong.
The Klan ain't left, just like racism
Klan
didn't
is
leave
the left,
America.
dude. Klan is
The
the
Klan
left.
is inside of
Ah,
all them doggone
are.
organizations that we just called out.
Democratic Party or the party of the KKK. How do you not know this?
And
Yeah,
you
but
don't know
that
your
doesn't mean
history
that
and know
they're
when
the
those
left.
Dixiecrats left? You
Yeah.
don't know that
Man,
the
I don't
Dixiecrats
care
left
about
and went to the
Democrats.
Republican Party? I know you don't care because it's facts and it doesn't
We're talking
jive with
about
what you want to believe.
Democrats. Why are you talking about Dixiecrats? We're talking about the Democrats starting the party of the KKK. The
Right.
Democrats
And
did
those
that.
same
Why are you
Republicans, those same Republicans that defected from the Democratic Party are the
all
ones
right?
who
Back on
are in the
topic.
Republican, right? I mean, listen, that's just history. I'm not, it's history, dog. I mean, you know what I'm saying? If we're going to have a real conversation, at least we be honest about facts and history. Those Dixiecrats left because
But the Dixiecrats didn't start the KKK. The Democratic Party
The
did.
Dixiecrats,
So
the people who became the
the
Dixiecrats were the
Democratic
ones
Party
who
didn't
started
start the
the KKK.
KKK. The people
Yeah.
who were in the KKK that started the KKK were Democrats. And those same
there you
Democrats,
go.
I didn't,
Southern
right,
Just
now
Democrats.
here we
oh,
go. Now here we go. Those same Democrats left because they didn't like the progressive views.
Okay, I think he cut out. But yeah, Danny, we're talking about um Charlie Kirk, you know, him being shot and things like that. Um, Detroit says that Charlie Kirk shouldn't be martyred. So, what do you think about that?
I mean, what do you mean by martyred?
Hmm.
I don't know if he can elaborate on that, but I'm guessing that you know it is what it sounds like. That basically he shouldn't be martyred as far as like him. Oh damn, I think we lost him. Wait, hold
I
up.
think honored with like the Medal of Honor kind of things. Is that what you're talking about?
Something
So
like
Detroit,
giving
can you hear me?
praise.
Sorry, I got happy with my
Revered.
finger said.
He says Charlie should not be revered, is what he means.
Sure. I mean, if you're a Christian, you would agree, right?
I said that
Agree
I
with
don't
what?
want. I don't think he should be
You
martyred.
wouldn't yeah, you
That was
wouldn't
my
revere
point.
a human. You wouldn't hold a human up to the same standards as God, angels, things like that. That's actually a sin, isn't it? I'm light on my Bible
Nobody's
studies,
saying
but
that.
pretty sure
But
that's one of the
we
10.
definitely don't want his memory to die out, though. That's the thing. Nobody's saying we should treat him like God and immortalize him.
Well, that's what
Nobody said
revered
that.
means, right?
Right, and that's why
Revered
I
like
said
Martin Luther King.
I'm sorry, I'm
Revered
gonna let
like
that go.
Martin
Big
Luther King.
difference there. Charlie Kirk didn't represent a group of people who didn't have the rights to vote, right?
Come on, dude. Are we really going
You
here,
know,
Danny? Come on,
I'm
bro. Do you know
quite
what
literal.
Charlie Kirk represented? He represented, first of all, he represented men like you who were God-fearing men who were white, who were being discriminated against just for them having white skin, Danny. How can you not see this?
Then why was he
You
killed
do
by a white
realize,
guy?
Yeah, it's white on white crime. There must be something wrong with white male society.
Because
dude,
it's not about the race;
it
it's
doesn't matter
about the
who killed
ideology.
him. It's the message that counts.
Exactly.
So
So
It's
why
I
not
was
the
why
race;
listening
it's
to
the
some of the I was
ideology.
listening to some of the
race?
conversation right before I
You guys are too
joined.
fixated on race, and that's the problem. You guys are too fixated on race.
It's
But the
not
guy that
race; it's
killed
Hold
the
on, hold
Let's
on.
talk
white
about
ideology.
Hey,
ideology then.
let me see if
Let's
I can
talk
put
about
this. Let me
ideology.
see if
Let's
I can
move
say
but
into
something
the
real
realm that
quick.
you
but
want to be
who
in,
cares
Chicago.
about his race? That's the thing, though.
But
Go ahead,
but first of all, First
You
of
brought
all,
up white on
Charlie
white
Kirk.
crime. You
Yeah.
But the,
No, I did
but
not. He
here's the
did.
brought up
thing.
attacks
Uh-uh.
on whites. I'm
Here's the
sorry, that's what you
thing.
brought up. You brought up attacks
Here's
on
the
whites.
thing. Here's the thing. Charlie
All right.
Kirk was not up. It was not in that deep into politics. He was
Charlie
trying
Kirk?
to
Wait, wait, wait,
express a
wait, 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 wait,
viewpoint.
wait. Stop, because Turning Point USA was paid like $1 billion by the Trump campaign to turn Pennsylvania around. Charlie Kirk led TPUSA, founded it as a formation to actually get into
I'll
politics.
agree.
They
I
do
agree.
things to
Okay, we know
distribute school
APAC. We
boards,
know
college
APAC,
boards,
Palantir.
everything.
We know all
Young
that. Okay, go ahead.
Republicans, groups
We
in
know
all
that. We
sorts of
know that
schools.
already. We know that.
So he
Okay, go
is
ahead.
a political figure in terms
We know,
of constantly going
Danny.
out there with his ideology.
We know that, Danny. We
Okay,
know that
well,
he's a
that's what
political
was
figure.
not that was not being said.
No, I didn't say that he wasn't a political figure. He definitely was a big role in getting Trump elected. We
That's
can all
exactly
agree.
what he was known for, though. That was
Which is
literally
politics.
his
We
entire
disagree.
existence
Go
was
ahead, Mr. Dennis.
politics.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Mr.
I've
Dennis,
been
you
watching
there?
Charlie Kirk for years, so
Okay, so my thing is, I don't know if we lost Mr. Dennis, but my thing is this. I never said, first of all, I never said nothing about white on white crime. I don't know where that came from.
so
And
let's back up. Let's talk about ideologies. You wanted to talk about ideologies when I was listening to this a little bit before, which has made me let me jump in. You were talking about left versus right, and this guy you're arguing whether or not he was left or right. Can we agree his family?
he
at least
wasn't, it
was
wasn't an argument though, Danny. He
Let's
is with
let's
left.
at least can we
Far
at least
left.
agree? Can we at least agree that his parents and his family were on the right?
That doesn't
Sure.
matter.
Wait.
He
It
If
was
mattered.
you want
It
to,
mattered
if you
2
want
weeks
to call
ago.
conservative
It
Oh my
right,
mattered
God, I
two
hate
weeks
when y'all
ago
do
when we
this,
were
bro.
talking about the trans killer and people were saying their parents were to blame. You got to be
No. He
consistent.
was a grown ass man. See, and that's
So
the
now
thing.
let's do the hypothetical. Let's
The
do the
left and the
hypothetical.
progressives, you
Wait,
guys don't want to
let's
take
do the
accountability.
hypothetical. So first,
Go ahead.
let's do the hypothetical. He's raised by a right family that's Christian, that's gun loving. He gets introduced to weapons all over the place. He gets trained in them, all those sorts of things because his family's right. It doesn't matter whether or not he was left or right. That was the situation which he grew up in, right? If you put that same person with the same whatever mental illness he had in order to go out and assassinate somebody, and you put him in a left family, one that did not value guns, that never trained him how to shoot, that didn't own guns in the home because they were anti-guns, what's the likelihood that that person would have been trained so well to be able to pull this off? Almost impossible.
Charlie's received thousands of death threats from trans activists. So
Right.
whether there's a gun or not, that it's the desire to kill somebody that what matters, and that's what's happening. Is we're witnessing the trans activists being very verbally
We're
violent.
not going to sit.
Pick
That's a
anyone
great
on the
point,
left.
Andy.
Pick
And we're not
anyone
going
on
to
the
sit up.
left, and
Hold
they will
up.
have death threats.
Okay, but my thing is, we're not going to sit up here and negate
So now
the
let's
fact that this guy,
back up
that
2
this guy
weeks
was
because you got to be
indoctrinated
consistent.
by
Did
leftist
not 2
ideology.
weeks ago on this
He was
very
dating a
show. On
transgender.
this very show 2 weeks ago, did you not blame the trans parents, the trans person's parents, for the violence that they committed at the school? Anyone could go watch it.
I blame the
I was on the
ideology.
show.
My thing is, when it comes to the
So the
parents,
parents were to be blamed, and the parents were supposed to be held responsible for it. Those were two things that happened. Why is it now that because the parents are on the right, they're Republicans and they're Christians, suddenly
first
that
of
is
all,
not
you
the
gotta
case?
definitely find that clip for me because
Why is that
I
no
thought-
longer
I thought
the
that was a
case?
mental. Because as I recall it, we were talking about that being a mental health issue. I never blamed the
We did
parents.
talk about it as a mental health issue, but we also talked about parents being responsible.
No,
Is it
parents
not
are
the
not
case?
responsible for. No,
Okay,
not for their adult children.
I agree. I agree. Parents do need to be responsible for their children. You're absolutely right on that. You're not gonna disagree with me. Disagreement with me when it comes to that.
So
And
these
it's the
parents
same with
raise
white
their
people.
child to be trained in a weapon, to be around weapons, to value them, to know which ones to use. That skill set would not have been in that person's hands at that event had they been raised in a left family.
That's not true.
Not
Because you
likely.
want to know why? It's the same thing with leftist parents. They train. And you want to know what? This is actually.
They train. Wait.
Hold
So
up,
the,
hold up,
wait.
hold up, hold up. Let me
Wait.
finish.
You can't be the
Let me finish.
leftist. You can't be arguing against leftists and be going like, well, they're the ones who want
Well,
gun
you made a
regulations. They're the
point
ones who
about the
want
right.
guns
You
being
made a point
removed.
about the
If
right
they're
parents.
that case, if
You
they're
made a
that
point.
way, then they simply cannot be
You made a point
also
about the right
pro-guns.
parents. You made a point about the right parents. Sorry, I was trying to add
Thanks.
somebody. Sorry about that. But you made an example about the right parents, right? And then it created this far leftist shooter, right? So that was your example. If I'm
My
not,
argument is not. It doesn't matter what the person's ideology was, right?
I
Because
agree. Okay,
no, no,
okay,
no.
but the
So
thing
for the
is,
example, I'm
you
literally
don't
just saying
care.
if this person
Hold
was
up,
raised in a different family, right, they wouldn't have even had the skill set to do this. So even if they had gone to try,
not
they would
true.
have failed
Not true. See, because the thing
Anyone
is
more
this.
could.
than
Anyone
likely.
can learn to do a
Yeah,
gun. Anyone can learn to
Yes,
do a
this
gun.
person
that's what I
learned
was
to use a
saying.
gun throughout his entire life. He knew exactly which weapons to use. He knew exactly where to go. That's not
It
But
doesn't
impossible
take a
on
life
the
to do
left.
it.
but
Doesn't
see,
That's
here's the
not
it
thing.
doesn't take a
impossible
lifetime to
on the
learn.
He was
left.
doing hunting when he was young, but when he got
Exactly.
older, he decided and he know exactly what he do. Here's the thing:
How
most
many people on the
guns,
left
but
do you think hunt?
how many people you know on the left they killed a bunch of kids at the school?
How many people on the left do you think
Hunting is
hunt?
legal. Hunting
I
is
Your
know.
legal.
argument doesn't work because we don't believe guns matter.
There you
So,
go.
well, he wouldn't have been able to kill Charlie Kirk with a knife from that distance.
That may be true, but guess what? He knew exactly what he did when he aimed that gun, that rifle,
Sure,
and
I
saw
agree, and
that
it's
trip.
a horrible, violent
Okay,
crime. It shouldn't have happened.
okay. So
There's
let's
all
get into
kinds
that.
of leftists who
But
use
see,
guns.
but now
Sure, there are.
this what he gonna do when he go to trial. He gonna try and
Then you
prove
have no
man
point.
wrong.
No, I
He
don't. I don't have that point. I have the point that his parents raised him in a situation that increased the likelihood that Charlie Kirk was going to
no,
be a
they
victim of
didn't.
his crime.
No, I don't think his parents raised him like that. You
I'm
know,
Wait,
telling
wait,
they
wait.
you,
were.
You didn't see the pictures of him
he was
being raised
being.
in like military-esque areas to play around
But
with guns the entire
okay,
time?
but the thing is
Lots of
this.
people are trained like that and they don't kill people. So that
Show
doesn't
don't.
Correct.
apply.
But the
There you go. So
likelihood
it
a
doesn't matter.
person who is trained, because
So the
nothing's
ideology
100%,
makes the
the likelihood
difference.
of a person being trained, right, increases their likelihood of being able to carry
And what
something
caused
out.
that ideology?
But what you
They
say, but
trained him
see,
to put on
Yep.
clothes too.
What
So are
causes
they
Right, and
guilty
ideology?
for him putting on clothes?
he was wearing clothes. But my point is that you're okay with pointing at ideology when it fits the narrative, but you're not okay at pointing at ideology when it doesn't. His parents raised him a particular way, around a particular tool, and like revered those weapons. They had a lot of joy around them. Gave him the training to be able to do it. They literally gave him every single
And
skill set.
he got indoctrinated. Why are
It
you keep
doesn't
leaving that
matter.
part out?
You
Why do you
If
can
keep
you
leaving
can
that
pick
part
up
out?
those skills in a
He
week.
got indoctrinated by
you can't
leftist
get those skills
ideology,
in a
Manny.
week, are you serious?
Sure.
That's
Yep.
just
Okay.
a silly point. You
So
can't
according
you
to the
can't
Absolutely
literally
atheist,
go
true.
from nothing to I've done shooting. You can't go
There
from
you go.
nothing to an expert shot in a week. There may be one in a blue moon who can do it, but you
Oh, is
certainly
he
don't
only a
need
week
to.
old? Is your point that he's only a
How
week
long
200
old? He's had
how
yards,
plenty of
long
years
how
Manny.
long do
to
you
learn
train
this stuff.
military people to
200
shoot?
yards. That's not
Just
hard.
a few weeks in
Yeah,
basic training. So it's not
like
that big of a deal.
language,
Training
right?
200
And then they
There
yards.
you go.
continuously
That's
have
not really
training.
that hard.
Are you saying he's only 9 weeks old?
No, I'm saying that he
He's
had
had plenty of
continuous
time to learn
training.
this as a leftist.
Right.
So
I'm saying he had
whether he
continuous
learned or
training.
not doesn't
But
matter.
he didn't even have to learn it after he had, if quote unquote, leftist ideology, because he didn't. He was actually a Nick Fuentes fan.
No,
Um,
he was
as
not.
he was.
Oh
No,
my
the
Yes,
breaking
he
God.
news is
was.
that he's
I
totally
don't,
far
I
left.
Not
don't
a
care
Draper,
if
bro.
he's
He's
right or
not a
left.
Draper.
Look, I
He
don't
is not
care
a
if he's right
Draper.
or left. I
Squid, what you
care
got
that
to
you're
say? What you got to say,
inconsistent
Squid? Because I
about
see
your
your reaction.
ideological choice targets.
Hold on, let Squid get some airtime. Go ahead, Squid. I know you got a lot to say.
No, I really don't know what to say because I'm currently losing my damn brain cells right now.
Everyone is. Okay. Brain cells just die.
it's all right, bro. It happens to me all the time, man.
but that man. See, here's the thing: what really killed me about people who say that why Charlie Kirk passed away because of that shot, and everybody else. They don't know. They hate to admit that it was not mental illness, Ross. And it's more like they know exactly what they did. They plotted it. They planned it. This kid was a hunter when he was young, and then when he got
Thank
older,
you.
his whole demeanor was changed when he started hearing Charlie Kirk and stuff. So he's no different than what happened to Trump. to what happened to Trump and Butler, the kids that happened,
Patriot
and that
Connect. Shout out Canada. My bad. Go ahead.
you know that kid was no different than most of these shooters that shoot these kids in these schools, and then they try and blame it as mental illness and stuff. These fuckers know exactly what they did the minute they pulled that
Thank
trigger.
you. Like, why are we treating these people like
Canada,
babies? Thank
Canada
you.
is filled
These are
with
grown
leftists.
ass men. Hold on, stop. These are grown ass men.
UK
who
is
know
filled with
exactly
leftists.
right from wrong, Danny. Can we not agree on that?
So these places are all filled, like Denmark, filled with leftists.
I'm
right?
sorry.
Leftists. They're socialists all over the place. There's socialists all over the world. What's the country that has the largest murders per capita?
I'm not sure. I never looked into that.
Your home country.
Do you think, just eyeballing it, just guessing, do you think that the United States is higher or Canada?
Is it
Less
based off of
leftist cesspool.
is it based off because of
It's the
criminals?
U.S. It's the
Is
U.S.
it based off because of criminals?
What about Denmark versus the United States?
I don't know. I don't live in Denmark.
It's the
What about
U.S., but we have a murder culture here. We train our children to murder people.
But these are leftist places, right? These are leftist ideologies, filled with leftist ideologies. They're socialists through and through. They're leftists. They like LGBT. They're perfectly fine with trans, putting whatever gender they want on their IDs.
They don't have the murder culture.
All of these places. Right. This is my point. They're leftists. It's not leftism that causes the murder culture. I'm not saying it's rightism, but it's definitely not leftism if we can go around the world looking at a bunch of leftist countries filled with leftist ideologies and they're not murdering one another. They don't have the one-on-one crime that's happening.
Pattern recognition, though, Danny. Can we understand pattern recognition? If we see,
pattern recognition is socialist countries don't kill people, generally speaking. In this case,
how do you explain the thousands of death threats that Charlie Kirk has received from trans activists? That shows that there's a murder scientist.
From people on the right. It happens all the time, back and forth.
No, it
people
doesn't.
Death threats
it doesn't happen all the time. See?
There were
not thousands.
Two Congress members killed.
No, it does not, Danny.
Two Democrat Congress members were killed.
Your side, the left, does
two Congress members were killed. Whitmer was kidnapped.
The left literally.
These were not people from the left who did that.
Stop. Now I gotta stop
AOC
right
gets
there.
death threats.
So hold on, we're about to see how genuine you truly are. Yeah. Who calls more violent rhetoric, the left or the right? Answer me that, Danny.
Who causes more violent rhetoric?
Who causes more violent rhetoric?
How do you rate violent rhetoric?
Talking about killing people.
Violent rhetoric. What are you talking about?
So are you concerned with free speech or not? I don't know where you would look it up. Where's your study about violent rhetoric?
How many Democrats was assassinated or killed in a year, 4 years?
At least 2 recently.
And who are those people?
The 2 members of Congress who were killed, who were attacked and stabbed in their homes and their spouses. Do you not recall this? It only happened a couple of weeks ago, maybe a couple of months now.
We're talking.
Do you not understand that you're only paying attention to one side of the news?
No, my thing is this. We're talking about real. First of all, were these like political figures? Like, who were these people?
Yeah.
Legislators
of the political structure. They're legislators.
State legislators, yeah.
And they were murdered. Not a pundit on a YouTube video, not a political individual who went out of his way to talk about the okayness of some people getting killed because gun rights are fine. None of those people. They weren't one of those. They were actual legislators.
Okay, so
legislative actions.
Those legislators, so because legislators make laws, correct?
Yeah, and they were killed by people who didn't like their legislation.
And what was their political view?
They were Democrats.
So
you're talking about the death of 2 murders versus thousands of threats.
Yeah, 2 murders.
Thousands of threats are a social trend.
2 murders always come.
All of that. Hold up. Wait a minute. I have to walk off for a second. You just said all of that just to say that they were Democrats?
They were Democrats. Yeah.
He's talking about the
The
politicians
people who
were
got killed. The people who
the
got
people that
killed
got
were
killed were
Democrats.
Democrats. That's what he was saying.
No,
I'm actually shocked that you're not aware of this having happened.
It was two politicians that was killed in
I
the
asked
Capitol in
you.
Minnesota about
No,
2 months
I
ago.
asked
They was
you
killed
who
by the
shot them.
left.
They
I
were
said,
not killed.
who were
So is it always the left who kills people because you're suddenly
no,
not
No,
able to accept
nobody's saying
that they
that.
don't like their ideologies,
all.
right?
I'm not saying that at all. My thing is this though: who's doing more of the violent crimes? It happens to be leftists. I mean, let's be honest.
I mean, I guess you would have to
That's
find that to
true.
be true. Like, where are you finding that data? People who recognize themselves as left, not Democrats, but
Oh,
left.
First of all,
well,
go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
first of all, half of all U.S. murders are of black people, and
Okay.
those murderers usually are Democrats. So there's some stats for you right there. And how the Democratic Party is guilty for this is that now they're letting those murderers out of jail at a higher rate, cashless bail, less police. So that's increasing the amount of
You're not letting a
dead
murderer
black
out
people.
of jail with cashless bail because they're not proven to be a murderer yet. Just FYI.
Yeah, but then quite often those people go out and commit more murders. You know, that's been
I don't
proven.
think
Like
you'll
the
pan
guy on
out
the
as
train in
data
Charlotte.
if you actually look that up.
No,
The
no,
guy
no.
on the train in Charlotte was arrested
You can
14
find
times and he stabbed the
You can
girl.
find individual examples of things like that happening, but by and large, cashless bail works in the UK, and actually brings people back to the court cases more often, than our
But
current bail
in liberal
system.
cities,
And
hold
bail
on,
actually
but
hinders people in
Bureau,
poverty and
I
poor
have to give,
locations,
but
even when
Dan,
it's not a crime that they're proven ever to have committed.
but Danny, first of all, we gotta
It
admit that.
incentivizes criminals to commit more crimes.
But here's
It's
the
true.
Cashless
thing:
It
bail?
doesn't deter them.
cities.
Yeah.
Cashless bail does not do that. There are plenty of countries out there with
Here's
cashless bail that have
Danny,
far less crime than we do.
Danny, here's the thing,
That's
man. You're forgetting that there
Danny,
because
are
with
they
all
don't have a
The
respect,
crime
entirety of
culture
the
with
like
all
we do.
UK,
respect, you
for
are
instance.
wrong. You are
but here,
wrong about these cashless bail. This cashless
thank
bail,
you.
what they do, they make more criminals commit more crime. That's why they call
So
them repeat
where are you
offenders.
getting that from? Because
It's
all of
coming
the
if
data
you
We
let
points
me
live
to
here in
finish.
the
cases with
state of
If
cashless
you
Illinois.
let
bail.
me
We could just
finish, if you let me finish, I can tell you where it's coming from. It's coming
Sure.
from the FBI. It's coming from police departments like the CPD, and it's coming from the U.S. Census Bureau. Danny, these people tend to be repeat
You're right.
offenders.
That's not repeat offense. Like cashless bail has nothing to do with repeat offense.
But
In
people
fact,
who
you'll
commit
likely
yes,
not
it
crimes
qualify.
does.
in
You'll likely
liberal
not
cities, they
qualify for
tend to
cashless
get let
bail
out.
if you committed a
No,
violent
no, no,
crime in the
no. I
past.
get you on that part. No, I didn't. No, that wasn't my
You won't even
argument.
get bail.
Cashless bail. I agree with you on that. But my
Yeah.
thing is, when they
You're
do
a
get
violent
let out,
criminal, you usually don't get bail. We can agree on
Danny,
that. So
I
it's not
agree with
repeat offense. That's not a data
I
point then for
never
this.
said cashless bail. That never came out of my mouth. My thing is when someone gets let out of jail, 9
Mhm.
times out of 10 in liberal cities, they tend to be repeat offenders, and that's coming
Tend
from
to
the
be. So you're saying
FBI.
over 50% of people who leave prison then go on to commit crimes again of the
I
exact
said
same
violent
nature.
acts. I didn't say prison in general. We're talking about violent acts. We're
So
talking. We're not
violent criminals come out of jail and come out of prison, and you're saying that over 50% of them then recommit a violent crime. And
First
A
of
high
all,
those
percentage.
people,
50%.
and
See,
those
look, you
people,
wrote numbers in. I never said 50%.
you said tend to, more
But I
likely
never.
than not, right?
But I never
That's
said
what
50.
tend to means.
No. See, look. Here's the thing.
Then it's
First of all,
Quite a few
sometimes.
of them. Quite a few of
Sure,
them. Can we
sure.
get past the
Our prison
semantics?
system
What's
is
your point?
our prison system is pretty terrible. I'll agree with that.
3 out of 5 does. 3 out of 5 does. So that's what 60%.
So 3 out of 5 is 60%, and then you're saying of those, the vast majority are liberal.
No, I said they're going to be repeat offenders in liberal cities who allow it.
Sure. So they're in liberal cities. No one allows. Most prisons aren't in a liberal city. You realize that, right?
No, I'm
So the
talking
people
about.
letting them
Okay,
out
okay,
very
okay. Then how about liberal
literally.
states? How about liberal states then? Is that does
But
that
liberal
sound
states
better?
actually have a lower per capita, generally speaking, of violent crime than they do of non-violent crime. Well, property crime happens more often in liberal states than in conservative states. I know that because I actually studied the crime data up until 2022.
They skew the numbers, right? You do know in those little cities, and they skew the numbers.
This
Like,
isn't just dealing with cities, this is dealing with states. using FBI data. It's not using state-only data.
Um, um, excuse me, but what city you in right now?
I live close to Pittsburgh,
So you're in Pittsburgh, right?
basically.
I love
Okay,
Pittsburgh.
so is
Go
Pittsburgh it
Steelers.
what so Pittsburgh is run by Democrats, right? That's a Democrat city?
Most
Absolutely.
most big cities, most big cities in the entire United
No,
States,
no, no.
both
I'm talking
the
about where you at.
least criminal, the
I'm talking
least
about
violent,
Pittsburgh.
and the most violent. So the least
So
violent
so
cities have liberal mayors in them, and the most violent cities are more likely to have liberal mayors run them because
okay, so you
big cities are generally liberal.
Yep,
so Pittsburgh is a liberal city, right?
they all are.
They almost all are. Most big cities are liberal. Yes.
Oh,
What up, Mitch?
What's up, bro? How you doing?
What up, man?
A lot. Come on for a few minutes. Who we got here today? We got Mr. Dennis here.
Yep. We got two people who disagree. Well, I don't think Danny disagree. Well, he does
Oh,
disagree with everything, but we got
who else we
people.
got?
The well, we have Detroit and we have Danny, but I don't
Oh,
necessarily
I know.
think Danny disagrees because we're all on the same page that we don't necessarily care about political views, right? Can we all agree on that?
When violence happens, I don't think that political views matter. Political views are supposed to be, at least in our country, a democracy focus. Real votes, going out to the polls, doing that sort of stuff. Civil rights, things like that.
That's interesting that you say that, and I'm gonna quote you on that too later on. But Mitch,
You
do
can
you
quote me
have?
on it right now.
I'm
I
sorry.
want to confront Danny on the point where you just walked in on it, but
Do it.
the point of fact that you made, like all the big cities are liberal,
I
and
didn't
you
say
saying
all,
that's
but that's
huh?
okay. I didn't say
No,
all, but that's okay.
I know not all of them, but most of them
Yeah.
are. Trust me, I know. I live in one. Now,
Nothing wrong with
why do
that, but it's true.
you? Yeah, but why do you think that? Why do you think that
Why do
is?
I think that? I think that generally speaking, large cities have to be able to provide for a variety of different people in order to make them function, including the people on the lowest end of the poverty spectrum, as well as the people on the highest end of the poverty spectrum. And in order to do that, the most likely way of attracting people into the city and keeping them there is through socialist or progressive or liberal policy, not more conservative policies, because those then tend to be more isolationist, as we see. That's just the fact of the matter. Now, they may be isolationist for good reasons, you may say, but that's not going to work in a big city where you have to have a bunch of people of different poverties, different economic levels, different races, different religions, all intermingling in the same space. It's not a
Well,
250
let me
person
ask you this:
world.
like, why was most all the cities, the major cities before the Squid Man? Can you are you fact checking right now or not really? Who's the fact checker?
I can look up something if you want.
Squid definitely the fact checker. Go ahead.
I can
What's the
check it.
point though? Before a certain period of time.
Look up like before the Great Migration. All the cities, New York, Chicago, Detroit, everything was conservative. Like before the 1920s and 30s, before we came up here, when we were still in the South. Now, why do you think that the Democrats followed us up when we migrated from the South?
So what do you mean? The Democrats, like the Democrats before, so if you go back to Lincoln, right? You had three major political parties,
Not that far. Yeah, I know you had the
right?
Federalists.
And
You
the Southern Democrats, the Northern Democrats, and the Republican Party. Everybody else didn't even run a successful campaign for president. Those three parties existed: Southern Democrats, Northern Democrats, and Republicans. The Northern Democrats believed that slavery shouldn't be expanded, right? But we're going to be okay with slavery in the states in which they existed already because they wanted to keep getting more and more votes. Southern Democrats wanted slavery to be completely open everywhere, and there was a big war in Kansas, the Bloody War in Kansas, all about that. Only the Republicans were like, we don't want any slavery. We want to abolish all of slavery at the time. And we want to use federal power to do it, right? Which is completely counter to
Let's
the
not forget
modern
the Civil
conservative
Rights
mindset.
Act. There were majority
Republicans at that time were liberal.
Let's not
They
forget the
didn't,
Civil
they
Rights
didn't
Act
believe in
as
the
well.
old ideology.
The
They believed in
majority of
changing
Republicans
things.
also signed off on the Civil Rights Act as well. So let's just throw that in there. We're
Sure.
not
But when
say
you look at northern states versus southern states, that's where you actually see a divide. When you see the geography difference, the geographical difference is actually consistent. For instance, Lincoln got 0 votes from the South, 0 electoral votes. He got all of his electoral votes from the North. Okay. Then
But I'm talking about
when you
like
go
in
through
the
the Civil
19.
Rights Act, again, it falls along those geographical lines. The southern states vastly went against them, and the northern states went for them. So much so that a Democrat who introduced even a minor civil rights bill in the 1940s
bro,
ostracized a bunch of the southern
that they're
Democrats
still
who became the
Democrats. It
Dixiecrats in
doesn't
the
matter where
1950s.
they live.
It's where they lived. Look it up. It's the geography that
They're
matters far
still
more than the party.
Democrats.
Bro, I'm telling you, they follow
They're
us.
still
They followed
Democrats.
us. They followed us from the South, and they brung their bullshit ways to the cities.
The conservatives?
No, the
What do
Democrats.
you, so
I
what
mean,
do you think?
I'm not
What do you think
listen,
is
wait, wait,
a,
wait,
Danny,
wait, wait,
Danny,
wait, hold
look,
on, hold
what do
on,
you think
his
is
hold
a
on,
good
hold on,
page.
hold on.
idea?
Hold on.
I
If
know
I'm a
this because
Republican,
I look at the trend. I mean, I looked at the trend before the 1930s. The whole damn country was red, besides the southern states.
It wasn't red. It was made up of 2 different distinct Democratic parties
The
and a
whole,
Republican
and basically,
Party.
the whole country still is conservative,
They had
besides like 6
they had
major cities.
very different viewpoints. And yes, you're right. There's a large portions of the country that are conservative if you look at land mass, but not
Yeah.
people.
Can
The
we
vast
escape
majority
from
of
1860?
people. What was that?
You need to look. I'll look it up myself.
Can we
Hold on.
escape from? Can we escape from
Oh, yeah.
1860?
So 1920s, 1940s, we already got there, right? Dixiecrats, Southern. The Democrats in the North voted, the states that were in the North that were mostly Democratic still voted for civil rights by and large. And not all Republicans did in 1964, which was actually where Nixon got his idea to start catering to more Republicans. Because there was a break in the party. No one who's a part of the Republican Party today would support forcing civil rights on all of the states using federal force and making sure that no one in the South could actually basically vote in one of the other Democrats. That's a federal over state rights power. Lincoln was big on federal powers over states in all of the things that he did, even though he didn't want to be.
okay, so let's get back to Charlie Kirk.
But we're in 2025 now. That's all
And in
wonderful.
2025, in civil rights votes, the vast majority of states that vote against them are southern states. It still falls along those same geographical lines. You can look up even Roe v. Wade and the groups that supported it. You can look up the people who have supported Trump. You can look up all of these stats year after year after year. Northern states, by and large, support civil rights type action, and southern states, by and large, support anti-civil rights action or dialing them back.
Okay, so Danny, let me ask you this. Let's get back to the shooter, all right? The one that murdered
Sure.
Charlie Kirk in cold blood.
Is he from the South?
Huh?
Is he from the South?
Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know.
Utah.
He was from Utah, yeah. So
yeah. Oh, right. I don't think that counts for the Dixie lines. But.
So, but my thing is this. Let me just ask you this, and I'm gonna test your you being basically. Let's see if you're being disingenuous here. Okay, I want to test something here. So if his name is Tyler Robinson, correct? That's the shooter. So
yeah,
if Tyler, if Tyler had 2 leftist parents, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you claim that his parents were like, I guess conservative or right or something like that.
They were definitely conservative. They were highly Christian, highly religious, believed in family values, all that stuff. Super pro guns.
So
they were, I believe, even Republican voters, right?
Mm-hmm. So okay, I'll give you that. So my thing
they are definitely on the right. Yes.
Okay, so my thing is this: if he had 2 leftist parents, would this happen?
So I'm saying that the likelihood of it happening, as we should all agree, would be less. Because even if he wanted to, even if
No.
the thought came to his mind, he would have been far less likely to have the skills, the training, the knowledge, and the ability to access the weapons that he used. Not impossible, of course, but it would have been far less likely.
And why would you think it will be far less likely? Is it because of the gun
Who's
rights?
anti-gun?
Here
The
you
right
go.
or the left?
Yeah, here we go. I kind of knew that was coming.
I'm not saying
So,
that that's good or
okay.
bad. Look, I'm not saying that that's good or bad. What I'm saying is you have to admit that if I was raising a kid, because I don't value guns in the house, right? And I don't want to promote violence, that it would be far less likely that the child would ever get the chance to get acclimated to guns, become okay with guns, learn how to shoot the guns, things
No,
like that.
they're gonna get the guns off the street, which
But
is worse.
even if they got it, even if they went out and got it, it'd be far less likely they'd be able to capable to actually make the shot. Again, it's not
Children
that
are
far to think of
responsible for
likely.
themselves.
I'm
How
not
can you
saying that
come
the
to that
person is
conclusion?
responsible or not. I'm just saying the likelihood.
So basically,
We
you're
have
saying,
to agree
so you're
that the
assuming,
likelihood of a person being trained to use a gun for hunting and killing animals is higher in a conservative family than in a liberal family,
okay, I'll give you that, but
right? Okay, so that's one
Yeah,
thing.
but
So
it's
raise
trivial.
atomic time.
It's
It
trivial.
doesn't matter the one-off scenarios of other things. We're just talking likelihoods here. So leftist ideology would bring the likelihood of this event coming down, not up. That's what that means.
what up, Chris?
What up?
What up, man? What you got to say? I know you was in the chat. Well, what you got to say, brother? Because I know you just hopped in.
Oh
We're
man,
trying
y'all
to
got
hear
what y'all talking about right now?
basically, I asked Danny here if the parents were basically far left, would the shooter still done what he have done? And he's saying it's basically a less likely chance that he would have basically made the shot. And I disagree with that entirely. I think he probably would have made the shot even more because they are always inciting violence. And my thing is,
Well,
he was with the left, so we're not going to sit up here and say
Wait,
he wasn't.
are you saying that
But
motivation
my
equals
thing is,
skill?
I think he would have been being on the left. I mean, let's be honest. It's pretty clear the left is a lot more aggressive than they used to be.
That's not fair.
I
Oh,
think
they
he would.
used to
I
be,
think he
maybe.
would be more aggressive. But as far as making the shot, he's right. Republicans are better shots. So
Trained from the beginning, right? Like a kid.
yeah, but the thing is, he's not a Republican though.
right. No, I'm just saying.
But it doesn't matter. We're just saying that raised by a family of Republicans, more likely to be able to have done the act that he did than if he had been raised by a bunch of leftists.
Well, I'm not saying he's more likely to have committed the crime. I'm just saying he's
More likely to have been able to, capacity
Right,
to.
right.
Yeah, had the ability to pull off the shot.
Right.
Yeah.
But so do you think that urge to
has to be
kill is
clear.
going to basically go down if someone has a gun or not?
Say it
What was
again.
the question?
I said, do you think the urge to kill is going to go down if he had a gun or not? I mean, don't you think he still would have done it even if he didn't have a gun?
Oh yeah. I think the urge is definitely still there, whether he's got the gun or not.
Yeah. My argument doesn't rely on the urge because, quite frankly, it doesn't matter. So we get a lot of people who have urges to kill other people in this country, and if they lack the skill,
But
the
you're
ability
saying,
to
but your
do
argument
so,
is the gun, though. But see, here's
my
the thing. See,
argument
now
is
I
not
got
the
you.
gun. The
Yeah, it
argument is
is.
not the
Yeah,
gun.
it
My
is,
argument is
because
the
what you
skill
said,
of
yeah,
using
it
the
is.
gun.
I got you.
My
See, now I got
argument
you.
is the skill of
Now I
using
got
the
you.
gun.
Nope, now I
Well,
got you.
Yeah,
No,
well,
because
the
what you said
capacity
was,
to shoot.
hold on. Gotcha, Danny, because that's not what you said earlier. What
That
you
is what I
said
said
was,
earlier.
no, what you said was if he had two leftist parents, that means that he would most likely not make the shot, right? And
No,
I
I said
wasn't
he
even
would be
talking
less
about skill.
likely to have a bunch of things:
But
knowledge
see,
about
here's
weapons, training to use it, capacity to make the shot.
okay, but my thing is this though. I don't really care when it comes down to the skill in order for him to make the shot. Yeah, I mean, it was 200 yards. I mean,
right.
a kid can do that. So
Right.
I
A
mean,
200-yard
skill
shot
doesn't
is
matter.
not
The
a
skill,
kid's shot for the first time you pick up a gun.
but the skill doesn't matter in this
Right. The
situation
ability.
Look,
because
The
it's only
ability.
was it
200
the
yards.
person who shot Trump only like 120 yards away?
Well, his ability to do it is irrelevant.
Thank
The urge, and
The
the
ability to
leftist.
do it is the only thing that's relevant. If he had
No, the
if he had all of
urge.
the urge in the world, if he
Why?
had all
Danny, what are you talking about? It's
if
What
I
the
makes
had
it
His
the
relevant?
motivation is nothing.
no.
What
I'm saying
makes
that
it relevant?
ability determins whether or not people can do something, not motivation. Motivation just determines whether or not someone tries.
They're
Yeah, but we're
going
not.
to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It doesn't
that
matter.
which
may
is
that may be the
everything.
case, but that's
They're
still
going to do
irrelevant.
it.
I didn't say it's irrelevant. I'm saying that the ability, if he lacked the ability to do it, it wouldn't matter if he was a psychopath. He wouldn't have succeeded.
Well, I mean, you can still grab a knife and run up in a crowd. I mean,
But
there's many
again,
ways
if he
to
did
kill
not have the ability to shoot, just we'll stick to the gun argument,
How
right?
do you know that though?
If he
But
had, if
Wasn't
he
Tim
didn't have,
Walsh the
if I
shooter?
don't, so if I don't
Didn't
have
Tim Walsh
arms,
post a video of
right?
him in the forest and him holding a right-handed shotgun with his left hand? So basically, he don't know how to hold a shotgun worth a damn. But wasn't he in the forest basically hunting as well? And he was Kamala Harris's VP. So
Who?
that kind of
I think.
debunks what you're saying.
No, it's just less likelihood. You can
I
look up
think.
gun ownership across liberal versus conservative lines. It's much less in liberals than it is in conservatives. You can look up who backs
Biden was
gun
a hunter
regulation
too.
laws, right? Liberals back gun regulation laws, conservatives don't. You
I
can look
think.
up who values like all of these things. You can just kind of look up and know that it'd be less likely, not zero chance, but it'd
Well,
be less likely.
I feel like
No.
the fact that he had the urge from God knows how much leftist rhetoric he's heard, but I feel like the fact that he had the urge to kill is the more how should I put the more disturbing factor than the fact that he had the ability to do it. You know, any number of people could have the ability from growing up and shooting guns. That's besides the point. The point is he killed a guy for sharing his opinion.
All right. So just a question for you then, because you weren't here on the call when we talked about it, but there were two legislators and their spouses attacked in Minnesota, right?
Right.
And they were Democrats.
Right.
So in that case, are you willing to blame the right for violent rhetoric?
No, because a right person didn't do it.
A right person
Thank
did do
you.
No, that guy was
it.
Earlier.
Why would a person on the left
earlier.
kill a Democrat?
That guy had been
I was
hired by
earlier.
Tim Walz to be on a board, some kind of board of some shit Tim was doing in
There you
2019.
go.
So I don't see
There you
Tim
go.
Walz hiring a Republican.
Why not?
Why not? What?
Why wouldn't he hire a Republican?
He's a Democrat.
No.
Come on. Let's be honest here.
Biden would
Politics is
hire
politics.
Republicans all the time. He was a Democrat.
Ah, come on. Let's
He
be
did.
real.
He did. Obama appointed a conservative judge.
Obama, they appoint what do you call them? Rhino Republicans, Republican in name only.
Clinton had all sorts of Republicans that he hired throughout his life. Hillary Clinton ran a bunch of political campaigns when she was younger, and she worked with Republicans.
I think you're being pretty dishonest.
No, what I'm saying is that you can't say what you can't say is that you know for certain that this person was on the left, but it's more likely that they were on the right. But you're looking for any possible thing to say, oh well, they're on the left.
Well, he was hired by Tim Walz.
That just contradicts what you said about the Nick Fuentes shooter, right?
I could be hired by a conservative CEO to do work for them.
Fair enough. Let's look at it like this. Let's use our logic. The reason I think he was on the left is because he had been hired by Tim Walz twice, and that gives me my my left leaning judgment. That's why I think he was on the left. So,
have you ever voted for a liberal judge?
But what would make you think he was on the right?
Well, have you ever voted for a liberal judge?
No, I asked you first. What would make you? That's what
have
makes
you ever
me
voted
think
for a liberal judge? I'm doing it for a point, so I can tell you exactly what's going on.
I'll answer that.
Why are we back in Minnesota?
What makes you think he would have been on the right?
So what makes me think he would have been on the right is because usually you target people who have a disposition that you do not like, right? The reason why we think the person who shot Charlie Kirk was on the left is because Charlie Kirk spoke about conservative ideology. That's why we think it.
So you're
So-
He had a
acknowledge-
trans lover, Denny. Stop. Can
So
we please
there are
stop?
tons of people in the Republican Party who
No,
go on Grindr.
stop.
Does that make them
Ain't no
instantaneously
big
not
dude.
Republicans?
There is
Sorry,
no
that
big
doesn't
I'm gonna
make
try to
any
get
sense.
you in a minute. I'm gonna try to
Okay.
get you in a minute.
So
But
on the
dude,
right,
you gotta
if the
stop
person
doing
if the
that, bro.
person's a
You gotta
Democrat,
stop doing that. Hold up.
technically, if
He
they're
had
on
a
the left,
trans lover.
sure.
The bullets
You
said
don't even know
fascist.
that.
I mean, he was in the furry community. You know, come on,
No.
that's not a.
Hold on,
So was
sure he did.
Elon
My
Musk.
thing is this. My thing is this. He had
Elon
engraved
Musk
bullets.
dressed up in furry stuff. He's
Elon
on the
Musk
right.
has Asperger's.
He's on
Okay,
the right.
Great. Okay,
So
so here's the
that's
thing.
not a point
He
to say
has
that they're on the left.
engraved bullets. He had
The mental
engraved bullets.
gymnastics.
He had engraved bullets that said fascist. Who is saying fascist more?
Yeah,
The
come on.
left or the
Be
right?
honest.
Yeah.
So quite frankly, the idea is
Answer
that
that. No, you gotta
I don't
stop
know.
doing that. You gotta
I
stop
don't
doing
know.
that. Answer
What
Wait,
is
wait,
don't
wait,
being
know?
said is that the
Who is
left is
saying-
You
fascist
don't-
more.
You don't know
Who
what?
is
What do you mean?
saying
I don't know that
fascist
the left or
more?
the right are
left or
saying
the right?
fascist more.
Really? Are you
The
being
left.
serious right now?
I'm being serious because like Trump will
100% the left.
fascists essentially by calling them socialists or Nazis.
Man,
And whenever
you-
anyone brings up Nazis, wait. Anytime someone brings up Nazis,
Daddy,
what's
this
the
is
next
looking bad,
conservative
bro. I
counterpoint?
ain't gonna lie to you. This is
anytime
looking
somebody
bad.
brings up Nazis, it's the left.
Thank
No.
you.
Anytime, so if I were to say, oh man, Trump's a Nazi, right? What would be the counterpoint?
What would be the
We're
counterpoint?
not.
You saying
We're
he's a
not
Nazi? I would
Nazis.
say.
Yeah,
I would
from the
say name
conservatives.
me one. I would say name me one thing that looks like 1939 Germany.
Okay, well, then that's a better answer than what typically I hear, which is the Nazi Party stands for National Socialists, and socialists are the ones who are fascist.
Well,
That's the argument.
uh,
Communism,
there's
fascist.
so many
Socialists,
nuances. in that.
Fascist. That's
No,
what people will
stop.
claim.
There's
So
a lot of
it is-
nuances.
Mandami, stop.
I hear it all the time. This is a
Zoran
both
Mandami-
sides thing.
Zoran Mandami is an open socialist dude. So are we talking about the
Okay.
right here or are we talking about the left? Because the left
Socialism.
openly practice socialism. You do know that,
Yes.
right?
Right.
Bernie
The left-
Sanders is a literal socialist. You do know that, right?
But I don't. So National Socialists, do you understand why Hitler used that term?
Yeah, that could be debated.
No,
But-
it's not
Oh my
debatable.
God.
It actually
It's-
happened, and
well,
it's
yeah.
also written
Hitler.
down.
No, I'm saying
and
the
it's
reason
talked about in Mein Kampf.
I'm saying
So
the
it's not a
reason
debate.
I'm
There's an
saying the
actual reason for why he did it.
No, I'm saying the reason he used that name could be debated. Of course, he used it.
He used it to
Hit-
attract socialists against communists.
Right,
Because
Hitler
he hated the
bullshit.
communists.
Right,
And he
hated
didn't
the
actually
bullshit.
have a lot of socialist ideas. He had a lot of communist. He just didn't like communists.
Right,
So he
hated
used the term
bullshit.
National Socialist in order to pull in people. And then, as soon as the Socialist Party had helped him win the power, he didn't utilize any socialist ideas. He used fascist ideas.
Well, to be
Socialist power
fair,
gives power to the people, the workers, not the government.
to be fair, Hitler didn't have to do very
Fascist
much.
is left.
I mean, after World War One
Fascist
was
is not
over, and
left.
they, after
Fascist
It
is
definitely is.
after
Absolutely.
World War One was over, and they signed
Well, this
the treaty.
proves my
over-
point that fascist is slung on the right as well as the
Who's
left.
for
Right?
cancel
So
culture?
there you go.
Who's for cancel culture?
The left, definitely.
Both
There you
parties. Before the
Oh!
1950s, before the 1950s, who did all the censorship laws? Who was against those? Liberals were against the censorship laws. Conservatives were pro those.
My
Up until 1954, when the Censorship Act was actually withdrawn, and then still people on the left would get arrested and thrown in jail.
If you
Lenny
have to
Bruce-
go back that far, you're exonerating the accused, the
No,
people
no.
you're accusing.
I'm saying that
Yes,
you
yes,
can't
yes.
You can't just say censorship is a cited thing because it didn't stop.
It is right now.
Don't ask.
It is
don't
right
tell.
now.
All right, let me ask you this. Dan.
That's from 10, 20 years ago.
Okay.
Right now, there's total
Free speech.
shutdown of free
Both
speech
sides.
on campus.
Let me ask you this, Danny.
There is no shutdown of free speech on campus. There's people who try and stop free speech on campus.
Absolutely.
and you're an idiot.
Danny, let me ask you this.
Absolutely.
Let me ask
You've
you
never
this.
heard of FIRE? The FIRE rankings for colleges? The free speech is like totally wrecked in our country.
How would
Look
you
up
define
FIRE.
How would you define a woman, Danny?
How would I define a woman? This is a
Don't
great
let
question. Are
look.
you a
He
Matt
think there's
Walsh
5
fan?
genders.
No, I just
He
genuinely
think
want to
there's
know.
5 genders. Man.
So
Don't
it
go
depends
there.
on whether or not you're doing a sociological conversation, a cultural conversation,
No, I'm
or
just
whether or
saying,
not
what's
you're
a
doing a
woman?
biological
Here we
conversation.
Yeah,
fucking go, man.
biological.
Yeah.
I'm
So
doing biological.
yeah. So depending upon where you talk about in human history,
X
when you're talking about biology,
X
Danny,
no.
Danny, you had me for a
Listen,
minute, man.
Oh my God.
scientists believed
about?
that
Danny.
It is literally just an XX chromosome, bro. What are you talking
no,
about?
that's actually wrong, biologically
Danny,
speaking.
come on.
Have you never heard of intersex?
Ah, Danny, you seem
It's a
like a great
biological
guy.
It's
phenomenon. where people
extremely
do not-
rare.
Correct, but that doesn't mean it's not
It's
possible.
extremely rare.
In science, just because there's 1.3% of the stars out there that are small, we don't call them non-stars, do we?
But what is a? We're getting distracted from the question.
With,
The
with,
question was, what
with
is a woman?
any,
If you're talking
That's not
biologically, it's an
defeating the
adult.
argument that it's still a star, dude. My thing is this, Danny. Can you acknowledge
Science is science is science. If there's a category of things, we call them something. We categorize them.
Name me an
And the
example
fact
there,
that you
please.
think. So, have
Name
you
me
ever
an
had your
example.
chromosomes tested?
Well, do you agree that by naming all these people and putting everybody in boxes, it divides us?
No, I mean literally it divides us. Yes, but no, it doesn't
Good
divide us in
point.
terms of culture. Culture should abstain from talking about science because science shouldn't offend you.
Let me ask you
Because
this.
it's true should make it something where you're like, okay, I guess I'll have to live with that. It
Okay,
is
do you think?
true that humans
Hey.
don't exist on just an XXXY chromosome dynamic.
All right, let me
They
ask you this.
do,
Let
though.
me ask you
The
this.
world
It's
cannot
true,
populate if it
scientifically true.
doesn't.
And you admit that it's scientifically true that men and women, XXXY, cannot
Hey,
be the
Squid,
simple
are you
description.
fact checking? Are you fact checking,
Go ahead.
Squid?
There's at least 14 well-known different combinations of sexual chromosomes. So good luck.
Danny,
Squid,
man.
you gotta start fact checking, bro.
I have fact checked it, and it is like this: XY equals male, XX equals female. I've fact checked that. Like,
Look up
too long ago.
intersex biologically.
I did look that up, and that's when something goes wrong.
That's not when something goes wrong.
That's
it's a
true.
biological
That's
thing.
true.
Yeah, it's when something
Blue
goes
eyes,
wrong.
blonde hair was a sexual
All right,
mutation.
hold on.
back-
Here we go.
Thank
Here's
Squid.
another one.
Thank
Here's another one,
Squid.
Danny. Danny, how do you feel personally about giving growth hormones to underage children, under 18? How do you feel about
So
it?
I would never give growth hormones to anyone.
Thank God we agree on that. I mean,
Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah, but I'm not a doctor.
Right, well, right. But at least you.
And there are instances in which doctors actually give hormones to kids who are going through puberty, like at the age of 4 or 5.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about.
Well, but they're underage, and you're giving them hormones that actually are the same kinds of hormones that trans kids use.
Right. Well,
and that also happens incredibly rarely, by the way.
And
so if you're talking about intersex as being ignorable, you should ignore trans people getting drugs early on in life in underage times, because it doesn't happen even as frequently as intersex people do.
How do you feel about the state of California?
Oh, that's not true.
Oh, it's very true.
How do you feel about the
Where's
state of
the intersex
California?
bathroom?
How do you feel about California being?
Tell me that.
Oh,
So bathrooms are a social
I want
construct.
to ask you that.
So
Where
look,
are the intersex restrooms?
they're
Tell
not
me.
built into building code, but that's also why women have fewer stalls than men. It has nothing to do with genders. It has all to do with buildings that wanted to prevent women from going into the workforce. Are you saying we shouldn't have women's bathrooms?
Bad, right, bro?
What about the
You know this
male?
looks
What about
bad,
the white bathrooms versus the black bathrooms? Was that a biological thing?
That's not equivalent. That's not
That was a
equivalent.
racial thing, right? Race is
There are
sociological
40
construct.
We're past
Not about humans. You're dividing humans if you're dividing bathrooms.
Oh,
How about this?
stop.
How about
there
this?
are 40 million black people in America currently, right? Or there are
Yeah, and it's a
currently
race,
little over 40 million.
right?
So here's the thing. Show me.
So
matter
we're
of fact,
talking about
show me
Charlie
a billion.
Kirk. What was Charlie Kirk's argument against
me-
black division?
You don't want to let me finish because you know what I'm about to say. Show me 10 intersex people. Show me 100. Show me 1,000. Show me 10,000.
When's the last time you had your sex chromosomes tested?
Good point.
Why aren't there bathrooms for them then?
When
Because they
was the
either
last
have a
time you
vagina
got your
or they
sex
either have a
chromosomes?
vagina. They either have a vagina.
So some people
or
have a vagina,
penis.
some
That's
people have a
why.
penis,
No,
but some people
stop.
then have ovaries and they have breasts, but they have a penis.
We really need to bring back bullying big time.
This is
Bullying never went away.
God, man, we have got to bring bullying back. These kids are so fucked
What?
Bro
up.
said ovaries with a penis. I've never
Yeah.
seen it.
Well,
Hey,
do you check
look.
everybody?
Call me old fashioned, but I like my women without a penis.
I mean, have you actually gone and
Excuse
like
me.
undressed even a vast majority of humans?
Oh, I think he may have got cut off. Is
Yeah.
he still on there? Hello?
I hear you.
No,
Yeah,
I
can
hear you guys.
too.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
thought
so you can't bring up a point of I've never seen an intersex person if you're not actually investigating intersex people. That's a
But I
false.
see
That's a
black people all the time,
disingenuous
though.
argument.
So why would you make no?
Well, Danny,
That would
say-
no. What you
Yeah, that's
did
a
was,
completely disingenuous
bro.
argument.
What you
We
did
listen
was a
on this
disingenuous
call.
argument.
On this
You brought up
call.
black bathrooms and white bathrooms. You brought
On
up
this
black
call, we have
bathrooms and
6
white
people,
bathrooms.
right?
No.
On this
wait.
call, we
No,
have
no,
6
wait.
people, correct? I guarantee you that at least 5 of us, if not all 6 of us, have never had our sex chromosomes checked.
Wait, say it again.
How many of us on this call,
fuck
there's
are
6
you-
of us, how many of us have had our sex chromosomes checked?
I have a
I'm
dick.
pretty certain
Why
I'm
do
a
I
man.
need to say?
Because that's not what
What are you
intersex
talking
means.
about, dude?
Apparently, you don't understand biology and you're
Well, no,
arguing a
look.
biological point.
You got to admit, the likelihood of somebody getting their chromosomes checked when they have a cock or a vagina, they're pretty sure what they are, so they're not going to.
There are plenty of people who have vaginas who get their chromosomes checked all the time because it turns out that there are other effects that are secondary, like they may be barren
Danny,
or
this might
they might
have to
not
be
have grown up in,
worst
and they get their
video you
sex
ever did,
chromosomes
bro.
checked.
That's a whole different scenario. That's understandable.
Danny,
Yeah.
Danny,
So there's
Danny,
people who
please
get it
stop.
checked. The
Please
fact
Yeah.
that people don't get it checked means that we don't actually know what the actual raw percentage is. But we know it's at least.
Dang.
Yes. You can literally not know something unless
Please
you actually
stop.
investigate it.
Please stop.
Right?
Please stop. Please stop.
You're the one who brought up biology, man. If you want to actually do a science discussion, we can do a science discussion.
No.
But you
Dang,
don't
you
want to
can't
do a
see the-
science discussion. You want to do a cultural
all, I
discussion and
brought
say
up-
that trumps biology.
Danny, you
That's
can't
what
see
you
the forest
actually
through the
want to do.
trees.
I posted some of it in the
First of
private
all-
chat, so you guys can read that if you want.
All right,
Yeah.
so check this out. Let's swap topics if you don't mind. Let me ask you this: do you agree that the best way to get rid of racism in the country would be to stop talking about it? To stop, like, I'm going to stop calling Chicago conservative. I'm going to stop calling him a black man. I'm just going to call him a man. And he's not going to call me a white man. He's just going to call me a man. Do you think that would lead to ending racism?
Yes.
So I think we would have to go a bit further than that. We would have to remove from resumes all demographic data, for instance, for jobs, and make it illegal to hire anyone based upon
No, I mean
demographic
socially.
data.
No, I mean socially between people, not in jobs, legal paperwork, none of that.
Socially, anything will continue to exist as long as people talk about it. Yes.
There we go. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, we got a yes out of him. That boy, Danny.
Good man. Good man.
It's a social construct. We can change social constructs. It's
There
just
you
like Christianity today is not the same Christianity as 2,000 years ago, right?
That
we
is the
changed
truth.
it to fit the culture.
Yes, that is the truth. Yeah.
It's not a hard fact.
So you think gender is a social construct?
When we're talking sociologically, yes.
Danny, come on.
When we are talking biologically, no.
We were just making progress.
That's okay. That's okay. Yep, that's right. That's good.
We gotta work a man, bro. Sorry.
I mean, it's literally, gender is literally a social construct because we have adopted and changed, just like religion, what that means over time.
No, it's not.
We have
adopted.
literally altered what it means.
I see what you're saying, but that's not what we're saying. What you're saying is
wait. This is where the
what you're
disconnect
saying
happens.
is correct, but it's not what we're saying.
We're okay with getting rid of black people by just not calling anyone black and getting rid of white people by not calling people white, right?
Right.
And we'll just rely on biology. Every one of us will be human.
That would
But
be great.
historically speaking, that would be new, right? That wouldn't be something that's happened in the past. That would be new.
I assume cavemen didn't call each other white or black.
Right, but almost everyone was amongst the same. They also probably would have divided themselves differently, right? Like the insiders versus the outsiders, et cetera, right? We would have created
Yeah,
some
So
big
yeah.
Danny,
divide.
so Danny,
But
Danny,
wait.
this is
Wait.
actually a great question here. This is a great question here from the chat, and I gotta shout this guy
You
out.
don't gender pets because pets don't have a culture. That's a stupid question.
How do we know what gender our pets are?
Yeah.
Oh my god, he's being a smart ass.
So I can ask you a question. I could like Vashon, I could ask you I could say, hey, are you black?
Yes, I'm black. Are you a dude?
Exactly. I
Hold
can't
on.
ask
Hold on.
I can't
Hold
ask
on. Are
somebody
you a
else.
dude? Hold on. Stop. Are you a
Yes.
dude?
Yeah.
So is that a social construct?
Yes.
No.
Just
That's
like you
just
saying yes to being black. We just
Hold on,
agreed. We
wait.
just agreed that there are 40 million black people in the United States, right?
That's different.
And that's a social
I can be
construct.
black and still a dude.
And that's a social construct, right? Race. It's
This
a
is-
social construct.
It's a stat.
this is where our agreements break down. Right
So
here.
race is a social construct because there aren't black people and white people. There are just humans.
Oh, okay. You're saying okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah, go ahead.
So
That's the way we should view them.
There are not black people. There are not all white people. And we were just talking about Charlie Kirk. You can watch tons of videos from him where he even advocates that same thing. So you disagree with me on that. You disagree with him.
What are you saying?
Christians. Wait.
You realize
Christians.
that, right?
There are Christians. Christianity has changed over time, right? But there's hundreds of millions of them, and it's a social construct.
Dude,
What do you mean by it's a social construct?
That means that it's created in our culture. It's not biologically. It's not a fact of the universe.
Okay.
It's not a fact that Jesus died in Nazareth.
Correct.
Answer me this. Am
Because
I
that's
black
changed over
first
time.
or am I a man first? Answer me that. Are you white first or a man first?
I'm not anything first. I'm me first. Okay. Just like we're trying to be America first, and America is a social construct as well.
America is a social construct?
Correct.
Danny, what the hell, man?
The imaginary lines amongst the states and the nation were created by people as part of a cultural colonial process, not by a natural fact.
That may be, but they exist because we say they do.
Exactly. 40 million black people exist, social construct. Christians exist, social construct. Christianity didn't exist before 0 AD.
It's hard.
So
It's
now
hard
my
to.
skin color is a social construct.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see how.
These are defined by people as a people interaction, a cultural phenomenon.
Okay, so answer me this: what is black?
Well, if that's the case, everything is a cultural phenomenon.
Hold on. Answer me this,
No,
Danny.
not
What
everything's
is
a
black?
cultural phenomenon. We have biological facts.
Stop.
What
Stop.
is-
When we study biology,
let me
wait,
ask
this
you
is the difference. When we study biology, we actually find out that there are chromosome mixings, right? And we can disagree on intersex or not, but we can agree that there's a biological fact of XXXY. At the very least, we're all in agreement with that, right?
Okay, so
It doesn't
Danny, what
matter.
is black?
It doesn't matter if humans existed or not.
Danny.
That would be true.
Danny, what is black? Answer me that.
What do you mean? It's
What
a
is
social
white?
construct. We decided what black people were some time ago.
So answer me that. What is black? You said it's a social construct. So
I'm not the
answer
person.
me what is
I'm not the
black.
person who said it. Ask Charlie Kirk.
See, this
I
is
think
where.
they're just human. I think yes. Oh, look up Charlie Kirk sitting there with Candace Owens telling college students about how all people are just humans, so there are not black people and white people.
Danny, boy.
Go ahead. I've watched probably far more Charlie Kirk than anyone on this show.
Okay.
Sadly, probably.
I am arguing Charlie Kirk's point. Do you disagree with Charlie Kirk now? That's really strange.
I'm not disagreeing with Charlie Kirk, but
So
my thing is-
biologically, we're all humans, right?
Well, you say
We're not a bunch of different races.
you just said we're a social construct. So
well,
now you're contradicting.
Biologically, we're all just humans.
But biology
We're
is a
not
social
fundamentally
construct.
genetically different, correct?
But biology is a social construct.
No, biology is not a social construct. Are you
We
not
make-
keeping up?
We
That's what
invented the
you're
word
saying.
biology.
We
You're saying
invented the
me
word
black
life.
is a social
goodness.
construct. Me being a
Yeah, do you see that? Do you see that?
Literally what
Danny,
you're saying.
Danny, do you see how you just went, oh my
I
goodness?
No.
can't change me having
You see,
you know what?
do
There's
you
an
see how you just
there's an objective truth, right? This is what you're trying to argue. Male versus female. There's an objective truth that regardless of whether or not humans had language to express it, there would be sexual chromosomes that are different. The Earth would exist whether or not humans did or not, right?
Earth
Yes.
would exist, but
Yes.
we created it. We named it
No,
Earth.
no, we named it, but the Earth would still exist, regardless of whether or not we had a word for it.
Now, see, you're trying to
Yes.
make the point
No.
I was just trying to make.
No,
I'm in
that's
agreement
right.
with you
That's
about
right.
biology. It's correct. We can move forward. There are true things out there that would exist without humans, right?
Right. Yeah.
But
Yes.
if I were
Yes.
to say if I were to say that the weather is nice, that's not true, right? In that objective sense, it's an opinion, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Right. Yeah.
It doesn't require any kind of biological, scientific data. It wouldn't exist without me saying it is nice. I had to define that, right?
Well, I mean,
Here's
it's
my
your
thing.
opinion. Yeah.
Wait, but that's
But
not
what does
The
this matter,
United
though?
States, the
wait,
land
wait.
mass, the land mass that the United States makes
But
up,
what you said isn't
the,
true.
the
What do you
land,
mean?
the
No,
land.
stop. If it's stop. You can't sit up here and say, "Oh, if it's snowing and blizzarding cold out here, oh, this is nice weather." Your brain is literally telling you you need to go and warm up, or you're going to die. So I don't really necessarily.
But you would die, not other things would die, and that's an objective. We could say that. We could say, hey, this temperature is too low for human beings to exist. That's not an opinion.
If I'm in Siberia, your brain is going to tell you this is not good weather.
Well, yeah, he's right about that.
But again, whether or not you describe it as cold or nice is completely irrelevant.
No, you described it as cold or nice. I didn't say that.
No. That's an opinion, and you can have that opinion and be wrong.
See, the word opinion, that's a big gray area.
Dying isn't good.
But only humans would die in that temperature. There's plenty of things that survive that temperature.
Right.
They would actually consider it nice if they had a language to say it.
Okay, you're right.
Right?
In that case.
So we would say humans, to be factual, we would say humans will die to exposure at that temperature.
Okay, but we're talking about humans though. That's the thing. We're not talking about penguins.
Wait.
I can easily make the argument. I can easily make the argument if you put a penguin in the desert, it's going to fucking die. Okay, so we're not getting anywhere.
These are things that are.
What are we talking about?
Testable. Look, these are things that are testable, right?
No,
that means that we can actually use investigation to figure it out.
This is factual based information, dude. Living in
So
Siberia,
it is not factual.
It's not good weather. I don't know where you're going with that. That isn't an opinion. That is a fact. Your brain is telling you need to go warm up.
It is an opinion. Anyhow.
I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah. I see what you're saying.
Isn't that a social opinion based on a human's ability to survive in that?
It's social.
Well, they're looking at it.
Hypothermia is social.
They're looking at it
because a human could communicate that to another human. If you are an animal, there's no social constructs because you're just going to be where you survive, right?
Just going to be where you survive.
Right.
And you're going to die if you're not there.
And you're going to die if you don't evolve, and right, because that's not a social construct.
If I lived in Siberia and it was like negative 30 degrees out, I could walk out and talk to another human being and say, hey, it's kind of nice out, and I'm clothed and I'm in shelter and everything like that. And they say, yeah, it is. And we would be right.
Well, what you're saying is you're saying the opinion of the weather being nice in your opinion. What Chicago conservative was saying is the reality of brutal weather. Like if it was devastatingly cold, that would kill you.
When you look at a map, look at a map,
both of you are right. You're just looking at it in two different ways,
right? You see the United States. Let's look at that. There's a landmass. That's true. And we can describe the landmass. That's also true. But the actual lines for the nation the United States were decided by people drawing them on a map, not by any function or feature of the landmass.
No, you're wrong. You just said not by any function or feature of the landmass. Our borders
There's
are
literally
largely
no function or feature
our
of the landmass that
no feature.
describes the
You're saying,
United States.
listen, you're
People just
saying no
made
feature.
it.
Borders are often
Hold on, let
drawn
me read this
along
super chat.
rivers. A river is a
When
feature of the landmass.
Let me
when
read
the
this.
United States was only 13 states big, was it true that it
Guys,
was the United States of America?
You just
guys.
said that there's no feature.
No.
I
It's
got
not
you.
Hold on one
inherent
Feature.
in the
second.
system.
Let's
Yeah,
do
so
this.
But
So
but
with
you
the
admit that.
ocean, okay. So with
Good.
the ocean, though, how far out into the ocean does the U.S. border go? Because
200
that's not a
miles.
defined line. Because that's not a defined line.
It's 200 miles for every country. I think
And
that's
who
global.
decided
okay,
that?
guys,
What's the defined line?
before we
The
hold
United
on,
Nations.
before we
Right. People decided
You're
it.
just making up shit now, though.
It
No,
doesn't
no,
matter.
that's
People,
legit.
okay, hold
if
up.
that's true,
The U.S. The United Nations
people
doesn't make up the
decided it.
borders for each country, bro.
No,
Hold
no,
up.
no.
Guys,
I'm saying every country from like
hold up.
if you're
Hold up.
surrounded by the ocean, you're allotted up to 200 miles of that coastline to be your coastline before it
Okay,
becomes
so hold
international
up,
water.
guys. 1 second. 1 second. We're gonna let you guys finish, but we gotta read the super chat just for 30 seconds, guys. Okay, then we'll let you continue. And I think Christopher Little was the one speaking. So we're gonna continue with Christopher. After the super chat from WR322, we got $10. Sure, it's the human race. It's all of us. That being said, we grouped for many reasons. Those group for dudes are cool. The other group of dudes want me to follow their rules or die at their hands. LOL. Thanks
No,
for the
he's talking about the
$10, man.
Yeah, he's talking about the Democrats.
Yeah,
But
for sure. Yeah.
but anyway, hey, look, I had a lot of fun with you guys. I'll get on here on the next one. It was good talking to all of you. I'll see you. Take care.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yes,
Yeah.
glad to
sir.
have you.
See you, everybody.
Peace out, bro.
Yes, sir, man. And thank you, WR322, for that super chat. I really do appreciate that. So, Danny, I got a question from Miss Latanya here.
Good.
Do you think men should be in women's sports?
I think men should be in women's sports. I think that sports are a complicated issue.
It's a yes or no question. Do you think it
I
can
know
be a
it's a yes or no
question?
question, but it's not a yes or no answer. You asked the question, I
Sure
gave
is.
the answer. Sports are a complicated issue. We value sports in a lot of different ways, and some of those ways are actually incredibly bad. Some of those ways are incredibly good. We should support all people going into sports, regardless of their sex or gender. But we also want to make it competitive. We make it competitive in all sorts of different ways, even in gendered sports. So it's a complicated issue. It's not a yes or no answer.
So in short terms, you believe that if the option men can play in women's sports.
I believe that if we can't make sports fair or competitive, that doesn't fit with our current cultural standards of what sports are and how they serve our society. So we need to fix that. But there's all sorts of things wrong with sports, far greater than the like 6 athletes or whatever that end up being trans, which is where the question comes from.
Okay, before I rebut that, I want to read off this $5 super chat again. He said he wasn't talking Democrats, but okay, LOL. All right, man. Damn, I think he left though. Dang it, man. I wish you would have stayed. But yeah. Thank you for that $5, WR322. I really appreciate that. So, Danny, are you acknowledging biological differences? Is what you're saying?
What I'm saying is that sports rely on biological differences. Yes. But those biological differences don't have to be in
Are
every
you
sport, nor
acknowledging
are
bio-
they currently based upon gender.
But are you acknowledging biological differences? That's what I'm saying. Do you believe that there are
So
biological?
I'm the only person on this call, other than maybe Detroit Coalition, who actually acknowledges biological differences versus social differences. So yeah.
So I haven't said that men have penises and women have vaginas. I didn't say
Because
that.
you
That's a
haven't
biological
described
fact.
what a man is
A man is
biologically.
an adult human male. It's as
An
simple as
adult
that.
human male with XY chromosomes, you said, right? With XY chromosomes.
XY chromosomes, yes.
Yeah. So you'd be wrong because every person with a penis doesn't have an XY chromosome.
that wouldn't make them a male then, right? Wouldn't that make it what the gender? That's what I'm saying. You keep in it. That's what I'm saying.
Not every
Stop,
person,
stop,
biologically speaking,
stop,
not
stop,
every person
stop.
has
Because
one.
now you
No,
just contradicted yourself yet again.
no, it
And
didn't.
you have to stay consistent with what you're saying, dude. So
Yeah.
when you brought up this intersex stuff, right? You just said that they're not male or female, right? They
Well, I'm
deserve
saying
their
that they're
own
intersex. It's a
freedom.
complicated issue.
Stop. That's not what you said, dude. If you can run through the video back, you definitely can run it back.
Yeah,
That's
go ahead.
what you said was they are not male or female, and even Squid put it in the chat here, right, Squid? Because you said intersex
Yeah.
condition, which is basically it's a disorder when it comes to sex development, right? We both
If-
can
That's what
agree
it
on
says.
that.
Yeah.
So
If
intersex,
no, if all you're looking at is whether or not a person is a penis or a vulva, not just the vagina, by the way, then what you are looking at is you're saying if that's the only thing that are men or women, like the
the only
executive
option
order
you have.
proclaims,
Never seen
then there's a
anything else in
whole
the-
group of people that are
So you're
neither men
saying
or
it's
women.
something
You
in
just
between.
acknowledge non-binary folks.
So you're saying it's something in between.
No, I'm saying that it's something different. Saying it's in between is also
But
simplifying the thing because there's like there's
but it's
more
still either
variations.
so
There are
it's
more
different, but it's
variations of
still
there's
ultimately a
more
penis or a
variations of
vagina.
intersex than there are of what we would call like biologically typical.
But ultimately, it's a penis or a vagina, correct?
No.
So what is it? That's
Ultimately,
what I'm asking you. Not a penis or a vagina.
Great. Ask a biologist. Ask a doctor.
Ask a biologist. Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't
So
know.
all I'm arguing is that
So,
if your definition
I'm gonna read this for you.
if your definition is based on chromosomes, you cannot hold it to be the case that there is only XX and XY.
Intersex conditions, also known as disorders of sex development, DSD, occur when infants are born with a mixed male and female genitalia. This
Correct.
disorder causes a mismatch in the external and internal reproductive organs.
Which means you can have a penis and
Child's body
ovaries or a vulva
But
and
the
testes.
thing is this, I'm reading this, and that does not dispute the fact that they still gonna have a penis or a vagina. That's not disputing that. So what's your rebuttal to that?
What I'm saying is that if your definition requires them to have a penis and XY chromosomes to be a male,
Or not and penis or
okay, so a person with a vagina could then actually be a man.
no.
Yes, because it's a
No.
mixed match. A person can have XY chromosomes and have a vulva.
Show me. What are you talking about?
I-
Like who? That's what I'm saying.
That's
Like,
one of the that's literally one of the
nobody-
things you just read.
But the thing is this. Okay, I understand that, but here's
So
the
wait,
thing.
wait.
Oh,
Pause,
you're
because
not
you just argued that if they have a penis, they're a man, and if they have a vagina, they're a woman, and
right.
that you didn't understand it was and those two things. So when you said or, you now opened up the
don't have
door
a
for a
and. You
person to
can't have
walk
a
into a
penis and a
bathroom,
vagina.
have the quote
can't have
unquote
both.
wrong chromosomes,
You
and
cannot
yet
have both.
call
That's
themselves
what
a woman.
You
You can
cannot
have
have both.
XY
And
chromosomes
that's what the
and
definition. No,
and have
what
a
I
vulva.
no, that's what
And
I
for
want to
social
know.
constructs, we actually try to label things a certain way so that way these complicated conversations people felt comfortable having them. It's not about, it's not so much that we're defining what it is. People are explaining social construct. If I say social definition, it'd be the same thing. We're basically defining what you're seeing every day. So if your daughter came to you and had a question about something that she saw, you're going to use the social construct, social descriptions to describe to your daughter what it is. But the overall, hear me out.
Not about what I think.
But
not a social construct. Gender is not a social. Well, race, gender, anything that's biology isn't a social construct.
so race isn't even a social. Race is a social construct too. It was created in the 1600s.
It shouldn't be.
It's not biological.
It should. You're right. It shouldn't.
Yeah,
but so shouldn't gender shouldn't be a social construct either.
So what are
it
you
is not
then?
biological. We are all human.
What do you mean? What am I?
Okay, you're right on that.
I'm a melanated human. I'm a highly melanated human.
We can interbreed. We have no genetic issues. In fact, all of the same genetics you have. Well, the vast majority of them I have.
As far as pigment, is that biological?
So there's expressions of biology, which is what a penis and a vulva are, right?
Oh, I said pigment. I didn't say penis. I said pigment.
Pigment
I
is an
said
expression of your biology, just like a penis and a vulva are.
First of all, I don't even know what the hell a vulva is. I'll look into it.
The
But
vulva
I'm
is
looking at
the front part of the female
but I'm looking at
genitalia.
the definition, and it does not dispute the fact that this intersex uh, infant or whatever, it still has a penis or a vagina. Now it can consist of an XY chromosome and have a vagina, but vaginas tend to use women's restrooms. They tend to have breasts. They tend to be ladies.
Right, exactly. So XY, the biological fact of XY, is not
No,
what
XX.
defines a man.
XX. You mean XX, not XY.
No, XY is not what defines a man, and XX does not define a woman.
It is.
Not in
Yes,
your
it is.
definition right then and there if you're talking about bathrooms.
So explain.
If a woman walks into a bathroom and your only evidence that she's a woman is that she has a vagina, but not that she has her XX chromosome, because she could have XY chromosomes.
And ovaries.
Well, ovaries could be mismatched. You could actually have a vagina and testes. Welcome to the wonderful world of biology. I'm sorry that you didn't get taught this a long time ago, but
and see, that's a weird bathroom to go to, and that's why just go to the bathroom that you want to. I mean, damn, like I understand what people's worry is about, like people in bathrooms that don't belong and everything like that. But
I've never seen a vagina with
it's so like the fact that people try. Well, I mean, that's good. That means that you whatever, you just didn't end up in a situation like that. But that's you, right? That doesn't speak for everybody, right?
A vulva is basically just a vagina. That's basically what it is.
Right.
I mean, we won't get into a biology.
It's the reproductive part of the vagina.
So
not all the vagina is reproductive, right?
So that's the vagina.
Not all of the vagina is reproductive, right?
But it's a vagina, though. Okay,
just like all of the penis isn't reproductive, right?
A woman can't have babies because of her reproductive. Does that make her not a woman? What the fuck are you talking about?
I'm only correcting you because it's the actual correction of what you'd be looking at. Like if you were actually look at a woman's genitalia and describing something biologically speaking, you would probably be describing their vulva because you're not their genital.
I would say that that's misogynistic, Detroit. So just because of
what's that?
What you said was quote unquote misogynistic if I was a leftist, because you just basically said if a woman's reproductive system doesn't work, then she's not a woman. And there, I
say that one more time. Say what you said that I said that.
Yeah, that's not what I said.
Say it again. What did I say?
You said not all women that have a vagina have reproductive systems. So you basically just said if she don't have a reproductive system, she isn't a woman. That's literally what you said.
No, he just said all.
No, I just said that not all of the vagina is reproductive.
Yeah.
So the whole vagina is not. I didn't say anything about. Listen, bro. I don't be sitting here besmirching any gender, race, or anything like that. I'm telling you that a woman's vagina has different parts to it, and part of it, the vulva, is the reproductive part. Just like your nutsack is the reproductive part of your penis. If you didn't have your nutsack, you're not reproducing, but you still got a penis. So that was my thing. I didn't say anything about. Come on, bro. Don't be baiting. Don't be baiting now. Come on now.
You guys are saying a lot of things that quite frankly.
You're saying facts that you ain't learned.
No, dude. So have you ever seen it? Have you ever seen it, Danny? Have you ever seen it, Detroit? I've never seen
in a medical journal. In a medical journal. In a medical book.
I've never
in a biology book.
What the hell
I don't
in a biology book? Yes.
In people's genitalia when I'm in the bathroom. I just go and use the bathroom and I leave.
And see, look, so you guys are basically talking on things you have never seen or experienced ever in your life.
You haven't either. So why are you talking about it?
Because I'm going based off the definition of what Danny said. What an intersex is.
I don't.
But you trust in him, but you just said he ain't never seen nothing. So go by the biology books.
Around with a sex chromosome test kit.
You can relax, buddy. Go ahead.
I don't go around testing people's sex chromosomes. If that's what you're asking, no, I don't do that.
No, that's not what I said.
I actually just trust them when they tell me whether or not they're a man or a woman. just like when they're talking about their children and they say that it's a girl or a boy, I don't go investigating their child's genitalia either because I'm not a weirdo.
Question. I see you can't answer the question.
What's the question?
I said, have you ever saw an example? That's a question for you in Detroit. Have you ever saw an example? I never said he had to be gay.
You can literally go on TED Talk and watch this really great video from a person who would express that she's a woman and she has a vulva and testes.
And did you see that? Did you see that?
How am I going to see someone's internal organ?
That's because
right. So wait. So what you're just
and you haven't either to disprove it.
Yeah. What Chicago's just saying is that literally biology, science, genetics, almost the entirety of stars, systems, galaxies, because you can't see them with your eyes, you can't talk about them as being true.
Oh, we lost Chicago.
Yeah.
We'll keep it going here though.
It's fine.
No.
Yeah.
So I guess the thing is, if you are trying to, I guess this is my thing. If it's me and I'm born with, whatever we're talking about,
thanks for the $5 chat. Sorry, guys. Let me read this $5 super chat. Stop. Don't let panelists move goalposts and stick to topic of original question. Yeah, we're gonna get our last thoughts in a minute, guys. But go ahead. Sorry, Detroit.
No. You okay? I guess going back to and trust. If I said something, I'll stand by it. But if I didn't, I'm gonna let you know I didn't say it. So no, I wasn't like saying that if a woman doesn't have a vagina. No, I don't even know. No, I'm just saying that there's different parts of everybody's body. Now, as far as the whole issue, I guess the only people I would see that like this would come into their life for the most part will be the child that maybe is born this way or the parents of the child. Other than that, I don't see where it's anybody else's business. It's medical information is their medicals like standing. That's on them. That's their body. As far as the sports thing, like I am one that like I feel like competition isn't fair enough as it is. So I probably would, if in certain instances of somebody who considered themselves to be trans, like if they came out and said that they were trans and they wanted to compete in whatever, like a 100-yard dash or whatever, to me, I feel like some of these institutions maybe need to create a place for them. And if there's not enough place for them, then well, hold on. But then if there's then if there's not a place for them and if there's not the infrastructure for it, in those cases, yeah, I believe that those people should be able to perform in whatever sport. Now, holding records, maybe they don't hold records.
Why don't trans billionaires make it for them? Why don't they create it for them?
Ask the trans. Ask them. What's that have to do with us? What does that have to do with? I mean, it's like that's like
it's such a small point, right? Like there's such a small population of people that it should be a non-issue. Like we have so many bigger issues happening, not only in sports, but all across the United States.
When you have trans kids, when you have trans shooters shooting up Christian schools, I mean,
you have a white male killing people who is the child of Christians in the right. Are you now going to go and advocate laws against all Christian families and all right families? No.
Yes.
So okay, guys, let's do this then. Let's leave this shooting aside. Let's just say murder in general, okay? Yeah. Or any kind of crime or anything like that, okay? I guess the thing is, if we get so ramped up on ideology about like this person, then when things happen, the first person they're gonna blame is that person. Now, going back to the Kirk shooting, I just want to be clear, like there were people that were at risk of getting killed or hurt after Charlie's murder that had nothing to do with it. Black colleges were getting threats from, if you want to say now the black colleges were getting threats from the left, because the left is supposed to be all violent like y'all saying, but those threats were coming from somewhere, and the only reason why they were coming,
they're violent. They just killed Charlie Kirk. They're violent. The left.
You think they killed Charlie Kirk? You
They
think they did?
did. He
What do
had
you
a
say?
trans
Ben
Okay,
left
lover.
for
He had
76%. 76.
engraved.
I'll tell
He
you,
had engraved bullets that
76%
said
of extreme. Listen,
he had engraved bullets
76% of
that said Nazi.
ideology.
He did not like
76%. Okay, go
right.
ahead.
He had a Halloween costume of Trump with a horse on top of it, bro. He did not like Trump. That
Oh,
photo that you thought was him with a Trump shirt, that shit was photoshopped. Okay, I know you want him to be with the right so bad, but he
I know
wasn't.
you want him to be with the left
Left.
so bad.
But he was with the left. He was though. Did you see his Discord? That's what I'm saying, bro. He was definitely a leftist. So, anyways, go ahead, Danny.
Okay, 76% of extremist violence that has to do with ideology is done by the far right. That's the ADL's
Where did that
saying
statistic come
that.
from?
Say it again. That's just a stat. What'd you say?
Where did that statistic come from?
From the ADL,
Okay.
the Anti-Defamation League.
Okay, what's your point with that? Because we haven't been causing
The
any
calls
violent
coming
rhetoric.
from in the house. Once again, I ain't say you. Like I said, to me, just if I could judge people's spectrum, I would say you're not far right. You're not. You're conservative, but that don't mean conservative don't mean everybody's all far right. There is a faction of the conservative movement, and this is what I was saying in my original point, that is very extreme. They believe in action. They believe in murder. They believe in maim. They believe in terrorism. You know what I'm saying? And that's what is from that side. If you want to say the Antifa is the same way, that's fine. That is the problem, is the extremes. But when we sit here and ignore the extremes on one side, I'm sitting here acknowledging the extremes of both sides, left and right, far, everything, right? They're both wrong. They're both terrorists. They're both all this stuff that we talk about. But just because one of them agrees with my views on treating people a certain way doesn't mean I agree with them on how they want to treat human beings as a whole. But I'm not seeing the same thing on the
So
other
I'm
side. You
looking
want to say
here,
Charlie was
and the
you want to say
ADL
Charlie was
actually says, I'm actually looking here. I'm sorry, sir. I hate to cut you off, but I'm actually looking here
okay.
on the ADL, and they're actually saying that political violence is actually caused by left wing terrorism more than right wing. They actually say left wing terrorism is at top, then then Islamic terrorism, and then right wing terrorism at third. So you're wrong on that. Hello. So, guys, I'm looking at the ADL right now, and they're saying left wing terrorism is at first. And they have examples like Black Lives Matter and Antifa, of course. And then they have Islamic terrorism at second. And then right wing terrorism is at third. And yep, Al Qaeda and affiliated movements are in fourth.
so where are you looking? So we can all look
I
at the
just,
same
the
thing.
ADL, he just told me the ADL. So I
No,
just
no,
looked
but
it
like,
up
are
on
you
the
looking at their
ADL.
direct website? Or are you looking up a link from their website? Like someone
Well,
linking
he
to.
said ADL, so I typed
Because
in
there's
ADL.
another, there's
Statistic.
other places that'll say 75%, 76% roughly of
Yeah.
violence is made up of the right wing, right? For the Anti-Defamation League. So are you looking directly at the website, or are you
And
looking
I
at like
don't
a
even
news
really see
article
a lot
talking
of.
about it?
I don't even really see a lot of examples of right wing terrorism. If I'm being honest with you,
I
But
don't,
see a lot
and
of
you're
left.
not looking at the news or media. Like quite literally, you can't look at violence without seeing it on basically all of
But this is
the
a
political
statistic that
sides.
he just gave me though, and when I looked it up, it actually says
I,
left wing
I know,
terrorism.
but can you like point out the
I'm,
link? Can you put it in our chat?
yeah, for sure. Start.
Over. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, now we can.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. So here's what a tally by the ADL found that 76% of extremist-related murders over a recent 10-year period were committed by individuals on the right. The Centers for Strategic and International Studies
Wait. Murders
in
in regards to
2020 had
who's getting murdered. Squid, can you fact check this, man? Because I'm fact checking this stuff. You
it
just
has to
go.
do with
But you're saying
based off of
terrorism,
ideology.
he's
So
saying
people being
violence,
murdered,
right? So there could be a
correct.
difference in those
And they
specific
use
words.
murder in this aspect for that, right? That was the 6% in that case was for the act of murder. So the Center for Strategic and International Studies, they have a study found, it says
You just cut out again, Detroit.
Yeah, you cut out, bro.
So I
I'm
think
sorry
that's
here.
part of the
My busy.
part of the problem, right? Is that like if
Go ahead.
one website wants to use a different word than another place, then that's a problem. Just like when news articles would constantly point out like top 10 murder cities or whatever were ran by Democrats. Well, they didn't look at what states they were in, they didn't look at what counties they were in, and they certainly
Danny,
didn't
the
look at
numbers are
they also
being
didn't look at the
skewed.
cities.
The
The
numbers are
safest
being
cities are
manipulated.
also primarily liberal. Well, but you can't like people like Charlie Kirk were advertising these kinds of news articles when it matched their belief. They weren't saying the numbers were being manipulated then. When people say that certain cities are really bad and they're ran by a Democrat, guess what? Those people believe those numbers. Those numbers come from the same locations.
Okay, but here's the thing. I don't care if it's Democrat or Republican. I know, okay, let's say Jacksonville, let's say Florida, right? They have a very high crime rate, correct?
I don't know. I don't
Do
have those stats on my list right
I,
now.
I believe
I don't guess at things. Sorry.
well, that was a recent statistic that I was just looking at, and I believe Jacksonville is up there. Jacksonville, Mississippi.
Sure. So what's the point? I'll for
My point,
sake of
the
the
point
video,
is, I don't
I'll let you go through.
my point is, I don't
Mm.
care if it's left wing or right wing. If that's majority of murders, then I believe that's where majority of the focus should be. But here's the thing, Danny. Jacksonville, Mississippi, or Jacksonville, Florida is probably one of those. Excuse me, correct me if I'm wrong. It's a red state. You see what I'm saying? They're actually reporting crimes out there. In blue cities, they do not report crimes because they
So
know.
this is exactly what I was talking about.
Oh
So
God, man.
so the data when you're looking at this data and those people are looking at the top crimes for the cities, it comes from the same pool of data as when they're looking at the crimes of the states.
So
They're
did you
not using different
were
information.
you not familiar with the story in Washington D.C. about the
I know a lot about the story in Washington D.C. about how there was like pressure to change or to adjust different things on non-violent crimes. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But they
Well,
but they
and
actually
so
weren't
earlier,
nonviolent though, were
so
they?
so,
That's
so
the thing.
let's
They
rewind a
actually
bit.
weren't
Let's
nonviolent though, were they?
What do you mean? The non-violent crime statistics were the ones that were reported and discovered to be attempted to be adjusted. And the reason for that is because non-violent crimes don't have to go through the FBI, so they're a lot easier to
But here's
manipulate.
the thing though.
Violent
They
crimes,
were
however,
skewing numbers, and the
do
only
go
thing
through the
that was
FBI.
look, they were manipulating the numbers. They were reporting violent crimes as misdemeanors, as the reporter said, and you have to and then look, the only thing that wasn't manipulated was homicides because you cannot make
So
something
where did you get the investigation
Because the
into
homicides are
the
murders. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah.
exactly.
And
No, you're right. I agree. So you can't skew those numbers. You can't manipulate a homicide. But
Yeah.
the other hand, Washington D.C. just came out, and this comes from Washington Post. It actually comes from the White House. Okay.
Well, the White House isn't a trustworthy source right now, but the DOJ might be or the
Oh
FBI could be
my!
because they have certain rules.
So we can't trust the White House that crime
If
is down
Trump
after the
just
National
says
Guard was
something,
there.
that doesn't make it true.
So is it not true that crime is down in Washington D.C.?
I know that some crimes are down. Yeah.
Oh God, dude.
And that's not that I'm not arguing that Washington D.C. hasn't had a lower crime rate since you put a bunch of National Guard in
So
there.
you agree with the information then that was given by Washington D.C.?
I agree with some of the information. Yes, I don't
So what don't you
necessarily agree
disagree
that the
with?
numbers were being
I'm
manipulated to the degree in which
so,
they said beforehand.
so now I'm interested. What do you disagree with?
Just what I said. I don't have any information that I am aware of where
You
they
don't know what you
indicated.
disagree with, basically. Okay, so we
No,
can
no,
move.
no.
I don't think it's a disagreement. I think it's a lack of trust.
You said
Which, I mean,
some.
No.
Okay,
So,
but that's okay.
He
But
said
that's
from
not
the
what
White
we're-
House.
the information that was given about the investigations and about the numbers being manipulated on violent crimes, not non-violent crimes, on violent crimes, was based on reviewing and interviewing an individual who said that on non-violent crimes, there was pressure to make those numbers go down artificially. There was not proof that on violent crimes that the numbers had been switched or changed, at least the last time that I looked. The only people who were saying that was the White House administration.
Okay, so let me ask you this: how many times have Washington D.C. ever been Republican? Can you answer me that?
It doesn't matter. I don't know what the point is. The point
The
is
point
that
is never.
the
point is
safest
It's
never.
always been Republicans, and it's always been Democrats and Republicans and
No,
the
independents
safe
in
the
Washington.
safest look the safest state
So
in the
so
United
it
States
just
is Massachusetts.
oh my God,
Washington
what
D.C.
the
never
Massachusetts
hell?
is
had a
incredibly
Republican
blue.
mayor, dude.
Massachusetts is
You
incredibly
talking about the
blue.
mayor? You talking about
It's the safest state.
the okay, man,
They
golly,
never had
all over
Republican
the place.
leadership when it comes to no. What I'm saying is Washington D.C. never had Republican leadership when it comes to the local people, dude. And that's what I'm saying.
But
Yeah, they
again,
have the
like
executive,
the numbers
legislative.
that you're
You got the
quoting
president
come
out
from the
there.
same places. So so this is the logic break. If it's true that the numbers have been manipulated by liberals,
It is.
but I'm saying if because we don't have proof of this information,
It
then
is.
it doesn't matter. Then when there have been mayors and
DOJ
it's
already
been the
came out.
safest or it's been the most violent, why would they report violence if they're just manipulating the data?
Why would they report violence? Why
Yeah.
wouldn't they report violence? That's the real question.
That's
Why wouldn't they
not a real
report violent
question.
crime?
If your
Why
argument is
wouldn't
that
they report a
if
violent
your
crime?
if your argument is that liberal Democrat mayors were hiding violent crimes in order to make their cities look better, why would they ever then report them to be violent? Why wouldn't they only ever top the most
That's
safest
the
cities
point,
ever?
Danny. They're not reporting it to be violent. That's the point that
Again,
I'm trying to
why
make.
would they then ever be a part of the most violent list of cities? If they're doing
Because they
this,
have to skew the numbers to make DC look more safe. But it's
no,
not as safe
all
as
over the
we
United
think it
States.
is.
Let's talk about all over the United States. Why would people be doing this? Why would you ever be in like the top 10 list of violent cities if you're hiding violent crimes?
Because you can't hide homicides, Danny.
Okay, homicides isn't the number one thing that makes up violent crimes. In fact, it probably last on the
Oh
list.
my God. What's more
Sexual
violent than a
assault.
fucking homicide? Dude.
No. When they
What are you
rank
talking
this
about?
violence, when
What's
they
more
rank
violent
these
than
cities,
murder?
look.
Danny!
You're not understanding the concept of how they report things. They report
He
a
understands it.
couple of different violent crimes. Those violent crimes get totaled and they get added up as a per capita basis. Homicide is just one of those things. Sexual assaults is another one of those things.
Which you cannot
Armed robbery is
skew,
another one
my
of those
point.
things.
Which is
Again,
my point. And the
homicides are
crime,
usually the
there are so
lowest of
many
these numbers.
Danny, hold
Homicide
on,
is
Danny.
usually the lowest of these numbers. So why wouldn't they then hide all of the things you're saying they could hide
Because they
and
want
never show
the
up on
state
the unsafe
to
list?
look more safe. It's for PR. Do you not know how these politicians work?
Chicago,
Wait.
Shy.
So you're not gonna sit up here and act
Oh my
like
goodness.
these
You're not even
politicians don't wanna
understanding your own logic.
J.B. Pritzker just did it in Illinois not too long ago when
Look.
he said Chicago was safe. Do you think Chicago is safe?
Look, this is exactly my point. Who's leading Chicago? Is it a liberal mayor or a Republican mayor?
They're all liberal, dude. Come on,
Right.
you know this.
So why would a liberal mayor ever
Not in
let the
Detroit.
numbers come out that would say we're an unsafe city? Ever.
Nobody would do that. That's why they have to skew the numbers.
And yet, Chicago
That's why they have
tops
to
the
skew
charts.
the numbers, Danny. That's my point.
Oh,
exactly.
and yet Chicago is still near the higher on the violent crime scale.
Because of the homicides.
No. It is because of the other violent crimes that make it top the charts.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. It's because of the homicides. It's not even close. Chicago die every single day. People
die in
die
every city every single day.
weekly.
Shy.
Five people die weekly in Chicago. That includes babies. Okay.
Shy.
This
Okay.
is good.
So if 5 people die every, you said how many a day?
On average a week.
That was-
Yes. I said
A week. Okay, 5 a week. On average. I mean, but it's okay. It's just Danny, hold on.
Sure.
On average, if that's the case, how many sexual assaults do you think on average you think in the city of Chicago per week?
I'm not sure, but I mean,
okay, and that's okay.
Crime.
I would imagine it's probably more. Hold on, I can imagine it's probably.
I will understand that, but here's the thing, though. I'm not trying to differentiate violent crimes. That's not what I'm doing. My point,
but that's
is,
the argument.
No.
Yes.
The argument is they're skewing the numbers and they're manipulating.
The argument is that there are violent crimes going on, right?
No,
violent crimes are
multiple
categories, not just homicide.
And you cannot manipulate homicides. That's my point. That's my argument.
That's a moot point of the overall argument of most violent cities.
Proven by the DOJ. It's been proven by
No. I'm not saying it's untrue. I'm saying that it's a small bucket compared to the other violent crimes. The ones that, in theory, you could
But those
manipulate.
can be skewed, Danny. That's my
This
point.
is exactly, you're actually on my side. When you say that, you're on my side. Do you want to understand why you're on my side, or do you want to keep saying things that make you prove me right?
Dude, my thing is this.
Are you
We're not
wanting to keep
arguing on
proving
that.
me right, or do you want to understand what's going on?
But no, my thing is this.
All
The
right, so
argument.
I'm correct then. My
Hold on. My
statements
thing
have
is
been
this.
accurate. Thank you.
I think you're forgetting how the argument started. I think you're forgetting how this all
The
started.
argument was about violent crime in various cities and people hiding them, because you were asking about hiding numbers in Washington, D.C.
Right.
Yes,
And my
violent
thing
crimes is more than one
said-
category. It is not homicides only, and homicides actually are the lowest bucket in most cities of all violent crimes.
But
by
the thing
far.
is, when you skew the numbers to make something that is a violent crime a misdemeanor, that
Yes.
homicide
So
tends to
why
make
are there any blue
higher.
cities? Why are there any blue cities listed on the most violent, not the most murder, the most
Because
violent cities?
newsflash, Danny, red states actually reports crimes. Ding, ding, ding. So
Right.
here's
So
the thing.
why again?
Red states
No.
actually report
Again, you're
crimes.
making my point for me. This is so unusual.
They don't. No,
You are
stop.
actually arguing my
Blue
side.
states
So
don't report
look,
crime because they are used to the crime. They are used to
yes.
carjackings.
So
They are
if
used to murders. This
what
is
would you
the stuff that they
anticipate?
are
Here's the
used
question.
to.
Here's the question. Wait. Here's the question. It's a numbers question, so you're gonna have to listen.
It's a reporting question, not a numbers question.
Sure.
It's about
But
the
reporting is
reports that
numbers.
it's actually been
Anyways,
reported.
if red cities report all the crimes that happen, right?
Yes, they do.
But blue cities do not,
They
and
don't.
murder is the lowest bucket of the violent crimes that could be capable, then why is it that there are blue cities that are worse than red cities?
What do you mean? In regards to what? What do you mean?
Because if
Violence. There's more
because if they could
violence.
fudge the
There
numbers,
are blue
right? Because if they could
cities-
fudge the numbers, they would, right?
Exactly. They would never be
That's exactly-
on the worst cities list.
Because it's still bad because it's overly violent.
Again,
That's the
they
point.
would never be
You
on
skew the
that list
numbers,
because they would adjust the numbers.
Okay. Here's
Your
the thing.
argument is that they would adjust the numbers. And if they can adjust the numbers on all of the big buckets and make them small, guess what? They would not be on the list of most violent crimes based cities. They just wouldn't be there because they wouldn't be reporting as much violence.
Dude, and my point is this.
So,
They're not
if that
skewing
was the
all
case,
of the violent crimes, but they are skewing the ones that make the cities and the state look
yes,
look
by
more violent.
lowering them. By lowering them, right? That's what your argument is. You're arguing that they would lower all of the big
all
buckets to be
violent
small
crime
buckets
doesn't
so that they look less
But
violent.
all violent crime isn't murder.
You're
and rape.
exactly my point. So you're
Correct.
saying that they would lower all
murders-
of yes, 100%. You're right. If you were to lower all of the crimes down in the blue cities to being so small that you would look better, you'd be less violent overall,
But
then
it's
why is
still
it there are blue
high.
cities that are
You're
more
not
violent than red
understanding
cities?
that it's still high. You can lower. Okay, listen, dude. If red states are at 50% crime,
I'm talking cities, by the way, but that's okay. Go ahead.
okay, cities. You're right. If red cities are at 50% higher crime, right, and you have a blue city that's at 100% crime, 100%, 110% increase in
100%,
crime.
okay.
Okay, let's say 110% increase in crime, but they lower it down to 80. Does that still mean that the blue state is safer than the red state, all
The
because they
city?
lowered their crime statistic down from 110 to 80? No,
So why would they only lower it by 30%?
because they
Right.
still have to get attraction, dude. It's a numbers game and it's a
Mhm.
money game.
So why wouldn't they
Here's the
drop
thing.
it down to 0%?
Why
No.
wouldn't they drop it down to 30 or 49? Why wouldn't they play the prices right?
Because you guys are forgetting that the big blue cities tend to have the biggest infrastructure and they tend to have the biggest attraction. People still love New York City.
But why would they go to a place that's more violent
they
than a
still
red
have
city
to make
by
money.
30%?
The city
Not the
still
people who
have to
go there.
make money.
No. If I'm
The
thinking
people
of a
who
place
visit
to
there.
move, if I'm thinking of a place to move, am I going to go to a place that's 30% more violent than another one?
No, but the thing is,
Exactly.
You're not
Exactly.
gonna
So if
do
the
that.
red city's at 50% and New York City's at 80%, why wouldn't I move to the red city?
You're making my point, my dude.
No,
Thank
no,
you.
no. I am making my
Mm,
point.
No,
no,
that's what I've been saying.
Yeah.
That's what
Shy,
I've been
I
saying.
would move.
Chicago,
I
you
would,
missed it, bro.
No,
yeah.
dude, that's what
I
I've
would
been
move
saying.
to the red city because it's less violent.
Right.
By far, not even by a little bit. It's not a tiny
You
amount. It's
guys are not.
30%.
You guys are literally not understanding what I'm saying at
You're
all.
not. You're
So
not.
okay,
You're not
I'll give you
grasping.
a
My
real
thing
stat
is
here.
this. My thing is this. You guys are misconstruing violent crimes that are being manipulated by the leftist cities.
By
In
lowering it,
Chicago,
not just
no.
manipulating it, lowering it.
And lowering. Okay, we can say that because that's tend to what they're doing.
Why would they ever
ultimately, right?
raise it? Right? Like it doesn't make any
Right.
sense.
So ultimately, they are lowering, right, to make their city look better and safer. And my thing is that is a PR stunt that the politicians use to still keep their attraction level high, to keep their tourist level high. And we all know that inner cities make the most money. Come on, guys. How are you guys not understanding this? Yes. Okay. 80% is still high than the 50%. But here's the thing. There is no business in that lower 50% Republican state. All of the business is in the 80% crime-infested New York City. That's where the money is. How do you guys not understand this?
So you're saying that money and prosperity follows crime?
Yes, dude.
You're saying
Yes.
prosperity follows crime.
Yes, dude. If
You're saying
someone has a business
prosperity
opportunity, okay, why are
follows
there so
crime.
many people in Los Angeles? If Los Angeles is so dangerous as
You're
fuck,
you're saying that wealth, if all I need to do to get wealthier is to move to a more crime-ridden city.
dude.
That's what you're saying.
Making my point. That's not what
That's
I'm
what you're
saying.
saying. You're saying that
The
it's more
inner
prosperous
cities-
there. So if I
said
had a
the
business,
inner cities.
so why
I
are
said the
businesses
inner
leaving
cities.
California?
I said the inner cities. I'm
Why
sorry.
why are businesses leaving plenty of cities in California?
Because of the violence, because of the crime. That's
So
my
why
point.
is it then that violence would attract businesses?
Violence isn't attract businesses. That's why they're
Right.
running
So
away.
New
Like you
York
just
is
said.
80% in your hypothetical situation. New York has 80%
But
violence
the
rate after
thing
they lower the numbers.
is,
Red City has 50.
okay,
Why would a business ever decide to go to New York City over the Red City if violence scares businesses away and doesn't attract them? You just said violence pushes them away.
Danny. Newsflash, Danny. New York still has the highest production rate when it comes to opportunists. Chicago as well. Miami as well. Detroit as well. St. Louis as well. New Orleans as well. These
So
are
then your
all
argument is wrong.
Stop.
The reason why those businesses are leaving
These are
California in
where
droves
all
is
the
not because of
opportunities
violence.
are, and you know it, Danny. Come on.
You know.
You know these are where all the opportunities are.
Yes.
No one's gonna go to a rural.
I know that big cities hold more opportunities than small rural communities.
That means people will sacrifice it being more crime to make money, dude. I really think you guys are confused when I say this. People will sacrifice their way of living to make money. Listen, dude.
So again, why are businesses fleeing California?
Okay. You got to move out your mom's house tomorrow,
California
right?
is the fourth largest GDP in the world if it were to separate from the United States.
Hold up.
Why are businesses fleeing California if it is the case that prosperity beats violence?
Okay, stop. Here we go. Now,
why? I mean, it's a simple question. It's a simple question. Why is California so goddamn attractive to money?
Because here's the thing,
so violent?
Dude. Americans are opportunists. What are you?
Regardless of the violence, is what you're saying.
Regardless of the violence, yes.
Okay, so then why are businesses fleeing California?
People are still gonna live, Danny. People
why are then businesses fleeing California?
Because people are tired of the violence, like I just said.
Okay. So we're a culture
that's violence okay brings business.
Violence attracts business. Violence and poverty creates wealth and prosperity, and then it kicks them out.
Businesses.
Okay, in those inner cities in California, why are businesses fleeing them?
Because of the violence, Danny. That's what I just said.
Weird. Weird that
Answer
we're in
me.
this
You're
strange loop
on
of
my side,
violence sends people
surprisingly, bro.
away,
You
but
don't
then
even know you're
violence
on
attracts
my
them back
side.
in.
You don't even know you're on my side, bro. I think you're just ranting at this point, just
No, I'm trying to figure out this circular logic. If it's the
dude.
case that violence kicks people out, it pushes them away. It cannot also be the case that it brings them in for businesses.
Dude, you're misconstruing the fact that Americans still have to live out here. Okay,
Are
Americans are
Californians American?
opportunists. Okay, stop. You
Are
gotta move out your
Californians
mom's house.
Americans?
Okay, stop. You do realize that places that have lower crime are more expensive, right?
Yeah, California is ridiculously expensive.
Dude. Oh, okay, but here's the thing, though.
I actually
California
have lower
has.
crime than California by a long shot.
But
There's actually
how much
0 murders
tourist
in my city
attraction does
every
California
year,
have,
and it's
Danny?
incredibly
You're
cheap to
making a
live.
disingenuous argument, dude. You're making a disingenuous argument because you know California is basically it's a iconic state. Okay, we're not gonna sit up here and compare California
I'm
to
not the one who's trying to make an
Idaho.
argument here about
Okay, the land
California.
of
What
the
I'm trying to
potatoes.
ask is,
You're not.
as an example,
You're making a disingenuous claim. Okay, so we're not gonna compare
I'm
California
not.
to Idaho. California was never violent, and it was never this crime ridden
Wait,
as it
wait,
is today. Okay, so
right.
we can all agree
But
on that.
businesses are
So let's
fleeing, right?
continue. Because the crime is going rapid ever since Gavin
Sure. So are
Newsom,
more businesses coming into
ever since
California or
Gavin
leaving
Newsom,
California? Just
ever
a
since
quick
Gavin
question.
Newsom, the liberal governor of California, he's been elected since 2019. He's been the
Yeah, so
governor
since
ever since.
2019, has California
He's been the
lost
governor
more
ever.
or
Danny,
gained
you
more
gotta
than
let me
other
finish my
states in the
point.
United
You
States?
guys not letting me finish, bro. This is crazy.
Go
Gavin
ahead.
Newsom has been the governor since 2019.
Yes,
Okay.
sure.
Ever since he's been governor, violence has been going up. Actually,
Okay.
violence has been up. And when it comes to murders and homicides and violent crimes and unviolent crimes, violence has been up since the 1990s. Okay. That is absolutely ridiculous. And my thing is this, Danny.
What
I'm going to
stats are
ask
you
you this.
using, by the way, to get that information?
What?
What stats are you using to get that information?
This is coming from the crime statistics, and this is coming
Oh,
from
strange, because that's the same data place that we used for Washington, D.C.
Okay, but here's the thing.
Who was massaging the numbers, right? They were
they're
getting
both-
rid of the numbers and changing them.
Washington D.C. and California, they're both still liberal. So, anyways, that
Right,
don't make
but they're all using. You're
But
using
they're-
these
but they're-
statistics, the
but
fake
they're both-
statistics,
but they're
in order to
both
talk
still-
about the violence in the
But
state.
no, see, no.
How do you know that Idaho
another
is less
disingenuous
violent than
argument that
California?
you're
By
trying
the
to
way,
make. That's another disingenuous argument that you're trying to make because when it comes to those skewed numbers, when it comes to that, Trump and Fox News and another right-wing media, they actually have to come out and report that. So we're not going to sit up here and act like that was a capital thing or a state level thing, whatever you want to call it. That was a independent thing that Trump wanted to do on his own to report the skewed numbers that Washington D.C. was doing. Anyways, let me ask you this: we can agree that okay, now you said California, yeah, it's very expensive and it is very violent. But here's the thing: when it comes to the numbers and when it comes to statistics, when it comes to these, and here's the thing, we're not talking about states here, okay? We have to go by
they're using the same statistics.
Neighborhoods. No. Look, here's the thing. We have to go by cities, okay?
Yeah, they use the same crime database statistics.
Okay,
That's how
but
it
here's
gets
the thing.
reported. It gets reported by local police forces to the FBI.
Okay, but here's the thing though, Danny. When it comes to cities and towns, are violent towns or violent cities cheaper to live in or more expensive to live in?
Depends on the state. There's lots of places per capita you're more likely to die in Alaska than in California, and yet the place in California is more expensive.
Okay, but what's the likelihood of somebody moving to Alaska than California?
I don't know. Probably less.
Okay, I'll give you one.
There.
Jackson, Mississippi.
Yeah.
So Jackson, Mississippi.
They report their crimes. I already know what you're going to say. They report their crimes.
What am I going to say? What was I going to say then?
When it comes to their crime rate, right? Do they have the highest murder capital? Do they have the highest murders?
Yeah, 49 murders per capita.
They don't report murders in Chicago, buddy. So let's move on.
Since when don't they report murders in Chicago?
Yeah, I thought
They
we
don't
couldn't not
report. They
report
actually
murders in
glorify
the place.
murder in Chicago. They do not report it. They don't. They have a no snitching rule in these liberal blue cities. Like, come
Oh, here
on,
we go.
Oh,
dude.
so now it's the idea
What are
that
we talking
homicides
about?
can't be like.
I'm in Detroit. I ain't that far away.
So is there?
Okay,
So you should know it's a no snitching rule in Detroit, right?
bro. Do you know that all these murders we have shot spotter? Y'all got
Right.
shot spotter?
Right. They
So now
actually
hold on, wait.
They got taken away
This
by
call
Brandon
originally.
Johnson.
So I just want to say we got shot spotter here, which a lot of us didn't vote for. Which anytime a gun is discharged in the city, it's a system that actually can track. I'm sure other cities have this too. So a lot of that stuff does get reported. Detroit's crime rate actually is down. But I just want to make sure there's no snitching thing. If that's
No.
like a real thing that you hold on, let me finish. If it's a real thing that you believe in,
Detroit is
so you
doing
believe that
no.
you believe these okay,
Detroit is doing good.
you believe these
I've read
crimes shouldn't be, you believe these crimes shouldn't be reported?
Huh?
I'm just saying, like, do you believe that these crimes shouldn't be reported?
Yeah,
So that's a different conversation.
Murder? Yeah.
So what's this no snitching thing you talking about? Because in Detroit, which is smaller than Chicago, and still a liberal city, right?
Yes.
A blue city, yeah. So
here's the thing.
okay, y'all got shot spotter there?
No, Brandon Johnson took them away. That was a $36 million investment that he took away to probably give to illegal migrants. So let me finish your point. My thing is this, my guy. In these liberal cities, they tend to have majority black people. In the black community, in the black culture, let's be honest. In these liberal cities, in the hood and stuff like that, they have a no snitching rule. What happens when you snitch? You get beat up by other people. You tend to get shot and or killed. Can we not agree on that, Detroit?
Let me say this, and I'm glad you brought that up as two black folks on YouTube here. Okay.
Thank you all for the conversation, but I gotta go. So,
yeah. We're gonna stop. This is the last point, and we're gonna stop.
I appreciate you, Danny. Thank you, Danny, man.
I'll stay on again. I'll talk. So.
Okay.
So, as us being black folks on here, let me be very clear. Every black person, okay, just like we were talking about these fringe, or I was talking about these fringe groups and things like that. So the streets, to some degree, no matter how people want to pump it up and everything like that, it's still on the fringe. Because you got people that's in the streets trying to get out of the streets to get to some kind of normalcy because of maybe what they missed in their life, and they want to pass on something better to their family. Not everybody that's from the inner city, you know what I'm saying, is with this no snitching or is for the streets only and stuff like that. Obviously, there's situations where, don't listen, hold on. Obviously,
probably the exception. Elders are probably the only exception, and this is a statistic that elders are probably the 90% that involve themselves in neighborhood watch, and that is a statistic.
Right, and the people who are in those neighborhoods who aren't elders are part of that statistic too, and the children that are in that neighborhood are started that statistic too, right? And then on the fringe, you will have the people. Even in nice neighborhoods, I'm from Detroit, so even in nice neighborhoods, you're gonna have a fringe group of people that maybe are doing the wrong things. And what I found, and this is just being both sides of Detroit, the nice side and some of the dirt of Detroit, being from both sides of the city, the people in these communities are the ones that the only reason why you know about this girl that came up missing is because of them, because people aren't out here trying to keep track of them at all. They don't care because they think that it's just something that goes on hold on, I'm gonna finish and I'll be done tonight. That's something that goes on in the hood. And I don't want to ever be one of those that get up here and try to ignore the people in the community that's always trying to push the community forward. Because that's the only reason why you still have communities to even talk about. There couldn't be a resurgence in Detroit without the neighborhoods. You see all the glitz and glamour down at the riverfront, but it started in the neighborhoods, and it will always be the communities of the cities. And your city is the same thing too. It's the communities that are driving this. The reason why you know about certain things that have gone on. The reason why you know why the murder rate went up and stuff like that. I hate when us get on here and try and play like, you know what I'm saying? Well, it's almost like inevitable it was going to happen to the black community. And if that ain't the most, I ain't gonna say that this is you, but I hear the sentiment it's the most soft shoeing, Samboing thing that I hear. And that's where I do get like my fur get up. Earlier we were talking even when people were like calling me names and stuff like that, that don't get my fur up. I'm okay. But when people like try and besmirch the whole community, you know what I'm saying, the whole urban areas and things like that, and then still will tout the things that go well in those cities when it's good for them, like when it was the communities that like kept this shit afloat in the first place and is always going to be the driving force. I just won't ever be one of those people online that's like, I'll speak honestly about my city when they effing up. For sure I have. For sure I have. And I know it's people that probably are involved in the city like that know what I'll say and things like that. But not like, no, I'm not gonna ever, man. I was raised by good black folks in good houses, good everything. And I saw people that didn't have what we had that were still the same good people, if not better than, or like socially better, just like morally, you know what I'm saying? Just always clink. Man, I would never, and I've seen dirt come from diamonds. You know what I'm saying? So like it like don't, I guess my thing about everything, even down to Charlie Kirk, don't paint these swaths. If you online and you like people that go online and watch people, like don't paint these swaths, man. We are more alike than we are apart. But when we start trying to like point the finger at one only and don't call the things out around us just because it agrees with us, like we become weaker. And this, and our culture is becoming more European in that way, because that is the DNA of colonialism. It's just lie, 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 lie until you're right.
Okay, so thank you for those remarks, and I agree with that. I mean, look, here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to end on this note. I never said that it's
I'll
okay.
peace out so you can say your bye byes, dog. I'm sorry, but thank you for
No, no,
having me on, dog. I know I've been trying to get on here for a
no,
while, and
no,
I,
just let me, no. Just let me make this point to you before we go, because I want you
okay,
to
I'm
hear.
with you. I was gonna watch it.
Here's my point. I agree with what you're saying, and I never said that it was right whether it's coming from the left or the right, whether it's coming from the far right or the far left. I never said that it's, right on either side. But I was just acknowledging the fact that this guy is from the left, and people were saying that he was a graper or that he was from the right, which is not true. I mean, clearly he had a transgender lover and he had engraved bullets that said fascist on it. We know that the left are continuously spamming the word fascist every chance they get. And my thing is this: I know that you grew up with lesser and you turned out better than a lot of people. And I can say that, me, a lot of people as well on the panels and things like that, that they can say the same. But my thing is, when it comes to me, you, Squid, Melissa, Kelly, everybody that's in the chat right now, we are not an exception to the rule. Okay. So my thing is this: I'm a very statistical guy. I don't really give a shit about what I went through as a person or what anybody else went through as a person. I go through the numbers, and the numbers show that black people commit over 50% of the violent crimes here in America. Can we agree on that?
Say that one more time so I make sure if I'm agreeing with you or not.
That African Americans commit over 50% of the violent crimes here in America. Violent crimes here in America. Can we agree to that? Because it's true.
Okay.
And
I'd have to do some research on those numbers. The last numbers I looked up, and let's see if we agree on this. If you never looked it up, then you might not agree with me either. But I know that the vast majority of arrests in this country, because crimes are one thing, right? That's like, crime is what? Like who's arrested or who's convicted. You know what I'm saying? The majority of the arrests in this country is white folks, 67%. Now that's the FBI
but that
data.
can be white collar crimes though. That can be non-violent crimes. You see what I'm saying?
What does it matter? It's a crime, right? I know violence is a thing, and no matter what, crimes are, violence is bad and everything like that. But when we talk about crime, like if you are a, so hold on, if it's a white collar crime, then you having like these two brothers go kill 10 people or whatever, they got more murders, but you were the criminal. So you can equate it that way, but then you get down to it, they all are in that fringe. And that's why I'm like, it could be mucky if we make it mucky, but when we start making things real clear, like nothing, if I'm wrong, please let me know. Have I said anything that, I know you said some things that you thought I said that was like demeaning or whatever to somebody, but realistically, as I've been on here, Do you think my intent has been to diminish any person?
No. I just think that it's just been a lot of misunderstanding when it comes to both sides. And my thing is this, like, that's why we have these conversations. And see, that's what I get. I mean, that's what we're getting at when it comes to this. Like, we are not radicals. You see what I'm saying? We're sitting here on YouTube having a conversation. This isn't what that radical left guy wanted to do. You see what I'm saying? He took it upon himself to grab a rifle, shoot Charlie Kirk in the neck, and now Charlie Kirk doesn't, he doesn't have his life anymore. His wife Erica Kirk, she doesn't have her husband. Charlie, his kids, they don't have their father, and it's just a sad
And it's
situation.
terrible. And
The
that's
thing
where we
is,
started up. Yeah.
the fact that you have the left mocking Charlie Kirk's death, all that does is just spread hateful rhetoric. And let me just tell you this: I don't really think it's different when it comes to the rappers here in Chicago mocking the other gang members that they slaughtered, in the hood. It's like, yeah, I'm smoking on Tuka Pack and I'm smoking on this and I'm smoking on all this other bullshit. I don't think it's
Right.
different. I think those people should be held accountable as well. So you're not going to get an argument for me when it comes to, even if the right does it, I'm going to call out any side that does it. Okay. But here's the thing. When Joe Biden had cancer, we didn't mock Joe Biden. We didn't say, oh, I wish Joe Biden die. And yeah, Joe Biden has cancer. And you know what I'm saying? We didn't do any of that. We didn't do none of that.
Okay.
I've seen
Because
one person.
everybody could get cancer, right? That's a little bit different there.
And
I
everybody
guess
can
here
get shot.
everybody could get shot, right? Right? But
So what
like
is that?
the likelihood of I'm gonna let you wrap it up. I guess I would say, the grace that you are showing, you know, I didn't see that to me in Charlie's rhetoric. That doesn't mean he deserves to die. But some people are out here and they ain't got it right in their mind. And if you play around with rhetoric too much, you know what I'm saying, that, these people don't know how to maintain. They can't tell if you are just joshing, if you are scheming, or if you just like being satirical. Some people can't. But if you dabble in that, man, it's tricky. And that man did not deserve to die, but you know, man, I would never like dub in those fringes, bro. Like it's just too murky on both sides to know who it is. And as far as if it does come out that it's somebody from the left, okay, I have no problem calling out anybody for anything that they do. And I think that this is my last point. I'm sorry. I think that anybody who's consider themselves I consider myself on the left. I couldn't be on the right at all, but I'm a progressive. I believe in some conservative sentiments, but like it's not all of us, bro. It's that fringe all the way on the other side. You yelling at the person all the way on the other out of bounds line. You know what I'm saying? Where in the middle is most of us, most of everybody in America. Most everybody on the left wouldn't want Charlie dead. It's that
The far
fringe
left.
side. Yeah, it's that far left. It's the
So
fringe. And if you want to say the fringe right is the problem too, we got to call out them motherfucking problems. Because if we don't, then how we gonna ever get back in the middle? Unless people don't ever want to go back in the middle, and that's
See,
what I think is the real thing.
okay, next time when we have this conversation, you got to give me some examples when it comes to the fringe left, because in my opinion, I think all we've been preaching is God and conservative values and the culture of America. So when
January 6th was far left, and if you
but
need more than
see,
that, I'll look up more
here's the
stuff.
thing, though, that was actually caused
It's
by
always a thing. Have you noticed how like
but
it's always a
that was
thing?
actually caused by Nancy Pelosi, and even her daughter admits that.
And now it's the
First
left.
of
You know what
all,
I'm saying? Right.
even Nancy
It's
Pelosi
always the thing that's the left.
that January 6th was her. Yes, because Trump asked for the National Guard because he knew it was going to be big. It was going to be huge. That's literally what Trump said. And Nancy Pelosi did not send him any troops. What do you want me to say?
He could have called his own troops.
Dude.
He didn't. He saw what was going on. He didn't. And it's actual, like it's actual. It was an investigation that went into this,
Trump
right?
isn't a dictator, right?
It showed that.
So you guys,
That showed that he delayed, right?
So you want Trump to be a dictator or not? So you want him to just call the military whenever he wants to? Because you do know it has to be a process to do that, right?
And that's what I'm saying. If the whole intention is to keep it going, just to keep the game going, then we never gonna like get to some kind of middle ground. So I'm always looking at the middle ground. I don't care who the president is. If you see a mob of people going in there, you know what I'm saying, and people by that point are hunkered down inside, why
You
would
do
you
know
delay sending troops? That's not
you
that's not dictator stuff. That's actually
do
like
know they were
hero
let in,
stuff to send the troops.
they were let
Say
inside the
again.
cap. They were let inside the
They were let
Capitol.
inside one side of the Capitol to keep them at bay.
Doesn't
Because if you
matter.
don't have
They
troops,
were let
that's
inside.
no. That's
They were let
riot. That's
inside.
riot psychology. If you are an officer, they understand this
Who
stuff.
died on
If you it's
January
just
6th?
it's
Ask the
two
Cap.
sides to the it's two sides to the Capitol, right?
How many people died on January 6th? And how many people died during
How many
Black
died after it?
what? What does
How
that
many people
matter?
died after January 6th? How many people died as a result of January 6th
Look,
afterwards?
I'm giving you January 6th. It was a violent day for the right, but my thing
Okay,
is
what was
how
the one you gave me?
many died on that day, and how many people died during Antifa protests and Black Lives Matter protests.
And that's wrong because that's far extreme, right?
It's
So
wrong on
me
both
sitting here trying to say that, right? But this is what I'm saying though.
sides. My
Like
thing
you
is
want to
though,
point out the left right now,
it's
right?
levels,
And
bro.
if I'm pointing out both, see, I'm pointing out both sides, and you only point out one. And
Because
that's my thing. Point out
it's levels.
both, and we'll get you.
I am
And we'll,
calling it levels. Did I not just say I'm giving you January 6th? I'm calling
But
out
you
both
believe Charlie was killed by a Antifa
was.
transgender,
He was though.
by an
Look it up.
Antifa transgender
Look it up, buddy.
leftist who
Look it
switched
up.
over at
He
some point,
was. He was
right?
dating a transgender leftist. He
Even
was.
though Nick Fuentes is even
He
farther
was.
right than
But that has nothing to do
right.
with the shooter. The shooter was with the
Mm,
left. It doesn't have nothing to do with Nick.
yeah,
Nick Fuentes is far right. So
and
let's just get right there, guys. We're gonna
I
have to
know
definitely
because that's where we'll keep going. I'm sorry, dog.
yeah,
Have a good
so,
night, bro. Thank you, man.
so thanks for joining, Detroit.
For sure.
Yes, sir. And thank you guys for joining the live stream. And I'll see you guys next time. And because Squid is out fried. So we out of here, guys. Peace out. Oh man, hold on. We got another super chat, guys. He said he just jumped back in. Why does this dude sound like the dude Vlad from Vlad TV, who has a bunch of bad takes? LOL. Man, thanks WR332. Man, you are an official member of the Chicago conservative team, man. I really do appreciate the super chats, man. This is what help us do what we do. If I'm being honest with you guys, I honestly wasn't even trying to go live stream again today because I think I went live earlier. But this guy wanted to debate about the subject, so why not? For
I'll tell you
sure, man.
what. I'll tell you what. My brain's absolutely fried after all that nonsense.
Yeah, me too, Squid, man. I think I'm about to go to bed, brother. I think I'm about to go ahead and hit the hay.
And that whole intersex thing was like, no, I'm done. I,
Sex.
I
But
don't try to argue
that's the
with him.
thing, though. It never disputed the point that they still had a penis or a vagina. You see what I'm saying? Okay, you could be an
Yeah.
intersex, but the thing is, you're either gonna have a penis or a vagina at the end of the day. So whatever.
Well,
Oh
oh
no,
yeah.
that's my brain hurt too, man. I'm out of here, guys. So thank you for the super chats, WR322. Love you, man. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, everybody that's in the live stream. I really do appreciate that. I think we had another. Oh shit! He gave me a $20 super chat too.
Uh-oh.
Kelly Settles gave me a $2 super chat. Oh wow! I'm sorry, guys. I didn't even see these. I must have been too zoned in. Well,
I
I'm sorry.
think you were.
What? Wait a minute. Yeah, I think that is a $10 super chat. I'm so sorry, man. He says, sure, it's the human race. I all of us that be excuse me. That being said, regroup for many reasons. Those groups for dudes are cool. The other groups are for dudes who want me to follow their rules or die at their hands. LOL. I'm sorry, man. I didn't even see that one. I'm so sorry, dude. And then we had another $2 super chat from Kelly Settles saying, nah, 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 nah. Don't stop having tantrums. Yeah, man. I think she was talking about Danny.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
don't I don't even argue with them because you honestly just can't win against stupid. in my opinion.
For sure. I mean, I mean, I'm using biology. I'm using like fact statistics and using the FBI statistics, using U.S. Census Bureau. You know, it's just like
None of that's working
I
in
don't
my
know what
head.
else. I don't know what else to say. And then there have been definitely been stories of them skewing the numbers when it comes to Washington D.C. I mean, of course they're doing it. You think Illinois isn't doing it? They're the most corrupt state, in my opinion, in all of the country. So that's just my opinion on the guys. But you guys have been absolutely fan freaking tastic today, man. Seriously. Um, I just can't believe you guys support lately. Seriously. I really appreciate the live stream and Squid. Let's go to bed, bro, because I'm tired as hell for sure. We got another long day tomorrow. I'll probably drop another video before tonight. Um, but yeah, guys, make sure you guys tune in next time, and we out of here. Peace out. Okay.